text earlier. Dislocated ankle surgery is expected to happen tonight in Philadelphia. Rookie Cam Scott Boomerang.
I appreciate it, Mario. We'll stick with you for the updates. Dallas taking on the Broncos. The Broncos have a battle back for the victory last week against the Giants. No battle back here. R.J. Harvey takes them.
Rookie running back R.J. Harvey had a central point. They've been waiting for him to explode. Here he is, 40-yard touchdown. Hey, Maria, it's 77 points the last 5 quarters. Good offense.
It's not bad.
Not bad. Is it not good defense either when nobody's in the screen as Troy Franklin catches a touchdown with the Cowboys? And just in case you're here, we are at the end of the second first half. Patrick Ryan, that's the end. He's back in the end zone. Nick throws a perfect ball, and Denver was rolling.
First career touchdown for the third rounder out of Illinois. Cowboys near midfield just before the half here.
Yeah, trying to make a play down the middle of the field, and the Longhorn first-round pick, Jedi Barron from Texas, makes the intercept. One of his first big plays of his rookie year, and then it's back to Troy Franklin once again in the back of the end zone. Denver absolutely blowing the Dallas Cowboys out.
Oh, yeah, CeeDee Lamb, there's nothing you can say about who blow the doors off. But Chris, you brought up here's the last 5 quarters of what the Broncos have been able to do.
Forged in Pittsburgh, defined by legacy, as we've been waiting all day for Sunday night football coming up next on NBC with myself, your host, Encyclopedia of Sports, Coin Luke 96, live right here on YouTube. As always, Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth will be on the call. But Steelers, Packers in a Super Bowl 45 rematch as Aaron Rodgers will face off against his first former team for the first time since leaving the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Pittsburgh already defeated his second former team, the New York Jets, week 1. And since then, Pittsburgh's got to 4-2 on the season. Green Bay's 4-1-1. And Pittsburgh returns home for the first time in 2 weeks. And then a short week Thursday night loss on the road in the division. But Steelers, Packers coming up next. So thanks for tuning in and watching my live play watch along reactions live right here on YouTube. As always, I'm your host, Encyclopedia of Sports, Coin Luke 96. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. That'll be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Hit that red subscribe button if we can spell next to it as well to stay up to date. Links once again in the description below. Thumbs up button. Share hashtag NFL, hashtag Steelers, hashtag Here We Go. Chat questions and comments, super chat, super stickers, super likes, super thanks. Always greatly appreciated. As well as this video is powered by Rogue Energy, HopeKThrifts, and Dead and Hungry. First off, with Rogue Energy, be sure to get your favorite energy and hydration flavors in canner tub form, shakers, and Rogue Energy merch at the link in the description below. Be sure to use the code Luke123. That's Luke123 for 10% off. HopeKThrifts, second resale shop that focuses on sustaining the environment in a cheap and fashionable way. As most items are $20 or less and include brands like American Eagle, Converse, Free People, and Shein, among others. HopeKThrifts found on Depop, Instagram, Macari, and Poshmark at, you guessed it, HopeKThrifts. It's HopeKThrifts, HopeKThrifts. So be sure to use the message seller code CHEAPTHRIFTS, CHEAPTHRIFTS, CHEAPTHRIFTS for 10% off as well. Link in the description below. And then Dead and Hungry, a novel written by Nathan D. Mitchell, found on Amazon. And once you go check it out over on Amazon, if that doesn't interest you, you might as well be what the title says. Also, if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit the hype button if available on your YouTube screen, and also scan the QR code behind me, or you can click the first top link in the description below as NBC goes to break with some Poison, as Pennsylvania's own Poison frontman Bret Michaels will be in the house and will be performing at halftime this evening in the Berg, the 412, the Steel City, as the Black and Gold are hosting one of the other most historic programs, franchises in NFL history in the Green Bay Packers this evening. But Carrie Underwood going to kick it off for SNF here momentarily on NBC. Just once again, thanks for tuning in and watching my live play watch along reactions live right here on YouTube of the Pittsburgh Steelers as they'll host the Green Bay Packers once again in a Super Bowl 45 rematch. That was 15 years ago. Neither team obviously has been back to the promised land ever since. That was a one-score game, a game Pittsburgh probably should have won, to be honest with you, but turnovers did them in. Absolutely killed them in the 31-25 final, in which obviously Aaron Rodgers was the starting quarterback of Go Pack Go after he took over for Brett Favre. And then obviously after Green Bay moved on from Rodgers for Jordan Love, who they drafted in 2020, Rodgers went to New York, played for the Jets for the past 2 years. Really only one full season, because remember, he got injured a couple plays into his first season in NYC. And then, after a season last year that didn't go their way, they decided to move on, and then he decided to sign with the Black and Gold on a one-year deal, and has 14 passing touchdowns through 6 games. As here we are, late October. Pittsburgh, as mentioned, returns home for the first time in 2 weeks, as they beat the Browns off of the bye, then went to Cincinnati on a short week in the AFC North, lost on a game-winning field goal, but back home here tonight, so they should be rested up. Should be a good game. It's been a blowout Sunday in the NFL. There were no international games this morning, but from the 1 o'clock window to 4 o'clock, and now here we are Sunday night. Hopefully, knock on wood, it'll be a good game. We should be in for a good one after all the blowouts we saw here today. But all time in the series history with Green Bay and Pittsburgh, Green Bay leads Pittsburgh 20-17 all time. They just met 2 years ago. So the next time they'll meet, Pittsburgh will be going to Green Bay, because it's been 4 years. And then it was the add-in game a couple years ago, and now here we are as the AFC North is playing the NFC North. This year, having already defeated in a home game across the pond in Dublin, Ireland at Croke Park, Pittsburgh beat Minnesota a month ago, so they'll go to Chicago and Detroit before Thanksgiving and Christmas, respectively. But I might add, Pittsburgh has not lost to the Green Bay Packers at home since 1970. I get, they're only going to play every, 4 years, let alone 8 years on the road. But they have been playing more than that as of late. So the NFL has been putting out, the old school historic franchise, matchup for the fan, on paper, and then expect a close game with all those meetings dating back to then. But the last 4 games in Pittsburgh over the past 25 years, 27 to be exact, back to 1998, all those games have been one-score games for a total of 15 points, from 4 to 3 to 1 to 7. And then also Super Bowl 45 in February of 2011 was a one-score game, as mentioned, as well. Green Bay's a 2.5-point favorite tonight, over-under at 45.5. Pittsburgh, as mentioned, 4-2 as they take the field. But throwback uniforms tonight as well, hence the Leatherhead. We'll get more into that in a minute, but Pittsburgh is 4-2, coming off of a Thursday night road loss in the AFC North at the Cincinnati Bengals, as they beat the Jets, Rodgers' second former team, 34-32 week 1. They lost on a game-winning field goal last Thursday, 33-31. So we'll see what the final score is here tonight. Obviously Pittsburgh had their chances against the Bengals, who lost today at home, I might add. Cleveland lost today as well. Baltimore did win, but they're still a few games back in the division. So, still a must-win game for Pittsburgh to maintain first place in the AFC North moving forward, because, as I've said before, the schedule ain't getting any easier. One thing at a time, take care of business here tonight. Don't want to look ahead. But, after Green Bay tonight, they'll host the Colts next Sunday at 1, and then they'll go to LA to play the Chargers on Sunday night 2 weeks from now. And then down the stretch into, November, they have the Bengals again, which right now it's those two teams for the AFC North. Obviously still a lot of football to be played. Pittsburgh already beat Cleveland 2 weeks ago. They'll go to the Rock and Roll City in between Christmas and New Year's, but they don't have to play the Ravens until early December and then Week 18 as well. But still a must-win game for Pittsburgh here this evening, because then you get into late November. Hopefully you're playing your best ball when they got to go to Chicago and then host Buffalo. And then, December unleash hell in the Steel City, which that's still a ways off. We're not even at Halloween yet. That's on Friday. But, they had their chances last week. Turnovers, among other things, ended up being the difference. Pittsburgh's got to continue around the football, though. They've done a good job with that recently. Been with Jalen Warren bulldozing his way around. They've been running the ball well. Obviously, Kenny G, Kenneth Gainwell, and then the rookie Caleb Johnson getting some playing time after seemingly now out of the doghouse from early season mistakes. But it's National Tight End Day today as well. Both these teams are old school, ground and pound, rely on the defense and special teams in order to win. But Pittsburgh, Rodgers finally found Freiermuth for a couple touchdowns last week. All four tight ends, I might add, have had touchdowns in the past few games, from Patty to Johnny Smith, who they traded for in the Miami Dolphins over the summer. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey on the defensive side in that deal as well that sent Minka back to South Beach. He might be back on the trade block with the way Miami's playing. But Mount Washington been making some plays along with Connor Hayward as well. So, obviously when you just have one wide receiver in DK Metcalf, your tight ends have been the go-to targets other than DK. Calvin Austin is back, though, tonight for the Steelers. So we'll see how they work him into the fold. But it comes down to it, rely on the Steeler killer, the Wizard of Boz, this spooky season, Chris Boswell, and take your points. But this defense, though, okay, they got to, because it starts with tackling and it ends with tackling, they got to make plays, flat out, okay? They got to stop the run, and they got to cover, because this Steeler defense, as of late, with Green Bay coming down from Wisconsin, the Steeler defense is Swiss cheese. Bunch of fucking holes. They can't cover. They cannot tackle. They cannot stop the run. They just, get the hell off the field, okay? Turnovers and special teams probably going to be key again tonight, as always. Pittsburgh's +5. Green Bay's right at the minus. Not in the plus, not in the minus, right there in the middle. But, yeah, Sunday Night Football now on NBC. Pittsburgh going to host Green Bay. And now the American Idol winner in Carrie Underwood will kick it off. Go out and ball out. So, yeah, we've been waiting all day for Sunday night. And like Mike Tirico just said, where the three rivers collide at the point in the 412 from the Allegheny to the Monongahela to the Ohio. Heinz Field, Acrisure Stadium. This crowd's juiced up, but yeah, Aaron Rodgers playing against his former team for the first time. Obviously, with Green Bay, he beat Pittsburgh in Super Bowl 45, unless Pittsburgh would already have their 7th Lombardi. Rodgers has one. Ben had to stay put at 2 and didn't get his 3rd Super Bowl. But, so I said, obviously this game was already scheduled before Rodgers was, signed. But that's one thing Rodgers can make up for as a member now of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just not win tonight, but he can go win him a Super Bowl to make up for that Super Bowl 45 win for him in Green Bay, but a loss for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, obviously, here we go, Steelers. Here we go. As the fireworks will get us started. Pittsburgh's wearing their 1933 throwback uniforms tonight, as Rodgers will enter last as they introduce the offense tonight, and rightfully so. There's going to be a lot of Aaron Rodgers jerseys, whether that's Green Bay, whether that's Pittsburgh. I don't think the Jets are in town, even though they did come in on a Sunday night a year ago with Rodgers, and then Pittsburgh beat them. But yeah, Tarico and Collinsworth and Melissa Stark on the call for NBC. We shall see how this game unfolds. Obviously, that's why we play a game. It's out on paper, it's out on the field. But once again, thanks for tuning in and watching while I play watch along reactions live right here on YouTube. So, yeah, Steeler defense got to make a play. They got to stop Josh Jacobs. They got to force pressure on Jordan Love. Obviously, keep Rodgers upright from Micah Parsons and the rest of his former team's defense now. But yeah, the Packers are 4-1-1. They tied the Dallas Cowboys on a Sunday night earlier this year, so that's a possibility once again tonight. It's probably going to be your typical Steeler game, down to the wire, and they're going to need a defensive stop. We'll see, but yeah, Green Bay's 4-1-1. They went to Arizona a week ago, beat the Cardinals 27-23, but the Steeler offensive line, speaking of protecting Rodgers, because they've got the run game going, they've done a good job recently of protecting 8. So hopefully that continues tonight as well. But then they got to stop another 8 in the former Alabama running back who played with the Silver and Black Raiders before they let him go, and now he's in Green Bay with the Pack. That's Josh Jacobs. He's a scoring machine. He has 8 touchdowns through 6 games, including officially 3 straight 2-touchdown games. Okay, so he's punching it in, and they're scoring points with him. But turnovers and special teams, and then once again, your typical Steeler game on tap tonight. So the Week 8 Steeler heart attack, get ready. But yeah, Pittsburgh wearing the 1933 throwbacks tonight. Yellow helmet, which they have worn over the past 20 years under those throwback uniforms that they wore, but they're going yellow jersey with the Pittsburgh City crest logo, not in the center like it was 30 years ago. It would have been either the 50th or the 75th anniversary of the NFL. But that's where the number is, and then the crest logo is up on the shoulder. And then obviously they have, with the yellow jersey, some black stripes. They're not the Bumblebee uniform either. But then they have skin-colored pants. So, and then the Packers, obviously, normally green and gold, with gold pants, green home uniform, but then a white away, and then the yellow helmet. Pittsburgh played at Cincinnati in a white out for the white Bengal. Obviously, that weekend, as Penn State and their road whites went to Iowa and lost, the wrong all-white team and the black and gold team won and lost respectively. But the Packers tonight in their road whites, head to toe, top to bottom. So white lid, white jersey, and white pants. As they're going to have to get after Jordan Love, because if he does what Joe Flacco did last week and just stood back there and picked them apart because they couldn't cover, regardless of who he's throwing to, it's going to be a long night. But then as long as they give themselves a chance, they'll still be there. So you take your points while you can get them. You run the football. Obviously, try to control the clock, best you can. But then, yeah, obviously, the only thing everyone's been talking about leading into this game here tonight has been Aaron Rodgers taking on his former team in the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, Pittsburgh already beat his second former team, the New York Jets, Week 1, and now Steelers Packers coming up here on Sunday night. So they'll continue on here with pregame before we kick this thing. But Rodgers can become the 5th quarterback all time to defeat all 32 teams in the NFL. He never had the chance to beat the Packers when he was with the Jets, but he's going to have the chance now to do it here tonight. But to join Brett Favre, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Peyton Manning, some damn good company. All Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers. And as Aaron Rodgers said, he holds no animosity towards the Packers. Well, no revenge game either. Well, we'll see about both of those. We'll see about that. Obviously, he was in Green Bay for 18 years, took over for the legend and Brett Favre. They won 1 Super Bowl, beat Pittsburgh. They probably should have won a couple more. That's how damn good they were. They just couldn't win in the playoffs. But we'll see how the black and gold play for him tonight against Green Bay. And then, like I said, this crowd's going to be fired up to begin with. But now with Rodgers against the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl 45 rematch, game once again, Pittsburgh probably should have won. Turnovers did them in, if you recall. But, like I said, with Poison Zone, Brett Michaels performing at halftime, and, obviously Wisconsin jumps around. Hopefully we're jumping around and having nothing but a damn good time here tonight, hopefully with a Pittsburgh Steelers win. As Chris Boswell will kick off left to right across your television screen right now dial, and here we go. Green Bay on the return, out past right to the 30-yard line. And there's a penalty on the first play of the game. So it looks like it's going to be against Green Bay. And Sean Hockley. Well, with him as the white capper, yeah, there's going to be a lot of penalties for him. His crew is known to throw a lot of penalties. So holding on the kickoff return, it'll be a 10-yard penalty and a first down for Green Bay. Take a look at the field as they'll go through the Green Bay Packer offense. The field with the turf has been replaced since last time the Steelers played 2 weeks ago, and then there was a lot of complaints about how bad it was after the game with footing and such. Obviously, Pittsburgh hasn't played at home since, but then even with the grass being replaced, Pitt played at home yesterday and beat NC State. So we'll see how it fares here tonight. But 1st and 10 for Green Bay from the 20-yard line, and they'll hand off to Josh Jacobs. And Jalen Ramsey with a bunch of other Pittsburgh Steelers. I was going to have to get used to that with the yellow jersey, obviously, and the black number. You're used to seeing the black with the white or the white with the black. But Ramsey with, I believe, Darius Slay on the tackle as they got 4 yards on the opening play. But like I said, just once again, thanks for tuning in and watching. And be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Dump off here near side. That's Christian Watson before he gets pushed out by Deshaun Elliott. And then, as always, we'll have a recap, a preview, and some stats and scores as well. So, yeah, here we go. Packers at the Steelers on Sunday Night Football, 1 minute in, and they got a 3rd and 1. So, come on, defense. Let's get a stop. Third and a long one. And Jordan Love getting pressured over the middle. It's caught and then dropped by Romeo and Dobbs. And so they'll go 3 and out to begin the game. Steeler defense forces a punt, and Green Bay's on to kick it deep. Calvin Austin should be back deep to receive this. He's missed the past few games with an injury. Really hasn't done a hell of a lot when he has played in his tenure with the Black and Gold, but that's neither here nor there. But watch for a fake on 4th and 1. Obviously, don't jump off sides. Don't run rough the punter either. Don't muff the punt at the end of this on top of all that. But from the 15 on the punt return. And a couple yards. So here we go. And here's Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers as he'll take on his former team in the Green Bay Packers. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Steelers. 13:26 to play in the first after a 3 and out and a punt. He's got the smelling salt. Taking a whiff of that. 1st and 10 Pittsburgh from the 20. Out of the gun, they'll run the ball. And near side is Jalen Warren for 3, maybe 4 yards. 2nd down and some pushing and shoving after the play. And Aaron Rodgers from Chico, California, played his college ball at Butte Community College before he went to Cal. And then obviously a 1st-round pick to the Green Bay Packers, as he thought he was going to be number 1 to San Fran that year, but Alex Smith was the top pick. But he sat behind Favre for a couple years, took over. Obviously, Favre moved on, went and played for the Jets for a year, and then also the Vikings almost took him to the Super Bowl. And now Rodgers, from after Green Bay and with the Jets, he's now with the Steelers. And the pass is complete. Far side. And they're bringing the Hogs in a little trick play. Yeah, Spencer Anderson, 74, an extra lineman, reported as eligible. And they threw it to him. He caught it. And I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card for tonight, but Pittsburgh's got a 3rd and 3 from the 27. They got an empty set 5 wide. Just convert, good 1st down. Rodgers going to roll out near side, going deep, and has a man wide open. And that's Roman Wilson at the 23. 2nd-year rookie out of Michigan because he didn't play at all last year. But there's a big spark on the opening drive, and you definitely got to get points now. I mean, I'll still settle for 3 if it comes down to it. If the drive stalls out, a lead's a lead. You don't know what you're going to need later on, but it looked like a broken play, and Rodgers just made something out of nothing. And yeah, found Wilson, hidey-ho neighbor for a 1st down to the 28. Motion man is Darnell Washington. They'll toss Warren near side, and he'll get 5 yards. So, I mean, just keep chipping away at it. But, I mean, you got to score a touchdown here after a play like that. So, play call, and they'll get it back in. So Rodgers going to be up under center. And now Austin in motion. And they'll fake the run, cut back far side on a bubble screen. Complete to DK, but there's a flag on the play. It's probably going to either be a hold or a block in the back if I'd have to guess. Yeah, maybe even PI. Yeah. So now, after the big play, you're going to have 2nd and long. Yeah, they say pass interference on DK. Even though he caught it, it doesn't go anywhere. And You know, they're just going to get backed up around the 30, 35-yard line, 40-yard line here. We'll see what the spot is. But they'll replay the down, and I mean, you're definitely hoping to get points though. Especially after that big pass play. So 2nd and 15. Yeah, ball back at the 34-yard line. So, I mean, get yourself third and manageable if you can. You don't want to keep going backwards here. Quick pass near side. Complete Warren, but he's wrapped up right away. So no gain on the play. It'll be 3rd and 15 from that spot. I mean, run a fucking draw. Get something. Kick it at this rate. I mean, you need points. You want points after a play like that, but you need points regardless. Because 3rd and 15, I mean, if you take a shot, all right, you score even better. But I'm not saying Boswell can't kick it from here, because he's a damn good kicker, arguably one of the best in the NFL. But from the 33 officially, you know, it'd be about a 51-yard field goal. Empty set 5 wide. Rodgers going to get pressured, and he goes down in the sack. Of course he does. So it'll be back at the 38 now, give or take. And now it's just going to be a longer field goal. So they can't capitalize off the big play, which is really no surprise. You know, they do something and they just keep going fucking backwards after that. But yeah, all right, it is what it is. What can you do? But here's Boswell for a field goal to the river from 56. And the right hash kick will be through the uprights and good. Pittsburgh leads Green Bay 3-0 with 8:41 to play in this first quarter. We'll update some stats here in a minute. Obviously, recap, preview what's going on in the NFL. But they get the 3 and out to begin the game. Force the punt. Get the big pass play. 45 yards officially to Roman Wilson. And then, they can't do anything after that. They, shoot themselves in the foot with a penalty. I mean, credit to Green Bay. They made some stops, got a sack on Rodgers. And, yeah, just at least he ended up getting points out of it. So it's 3-0 and back to, relying on the defense. So I'll leave it at that. It's early. A lot of football played. It ain't over until it's over. It's, you got to play a full 60, obviously. I've had chances recently to potentially go to overtime, but win or loss for that matter. They're 4-2. They're still atop the North, and they're up 3-0 here tonight. So that's at least they got points. At least you could ask for there. You wanted more, you didn't get it. At least you got points. You don't know you're gonna need later. You kick it, especially when it's 4th and as long as it was. So, just back to the defense. Gonna need stops. They heard the noise on, how bad, they played last Thursday. And, the turnovers was really, what did them in. Because, when you lose by 2, especially on a field goal like that, I don't care if they scored late to take the lead. Yeah, they gave them too much time. It was the turnovers and the defense they couldn't cover. They couldn't make stops. They couldn't make plays. But they got off the field, forced the kick, and then, with the big play, yeah, you want a touchdown, but you kick it. Well, because you had to, but you still kick it, you still take the points, and they do. So it's 3-0, and, like I said, it's back to the defense now, and we'll see if they can get a turnover or two and not turn it over tonight, and score, and, maybe that's the difference. But once again, it's early, 8:41 to play in the first, so Boswell will kick off, and Green Bay on the kickoff return from inside the 5, so couple missed tackles, and Green Bay gets to about the 34, 35-yard line. So they'll probably introduce the Steeler defense now. Yep. So obviously, yeah, it's TJ's defense with Cam Hayward in the middle, Patrick Queen in the middle at linebacker, but then, Jalen Ramsey in the back end. They just, regardless who's out there on that respective play, they got to make stops. They have depth. It's not like they don't have depth and they've gotten healthy, because they were banged up earlier this year with some injuries. But they're healthy, and Rodgers has been playing well. They have the run game going, but if only because it's normally the defense is playing strong, offense is nowhere to be found. Now flip-flop. It's like they can't, catch a break. They can't have everything go their way, which obviously I get. You're not always going to have that. You got to figure your shit out. You might have one thing go your way, and then the rest be sideways, and you got to turn it upside down. And like I said, just figure it out. You got to, at the end of the day, find a way to win. So 2nd and 7 here, Green Bay out of the eye. They'll fake the run over the middle out past midfield. Was caught. First down Packers. Romeo Doubs at the 40. 1st and 10 Green Bay. So, yeah, obviously they still can't fucking cover. But right now, as long as they're stopping Jacobs, I'm fine with it. You still want to lock down. But like I said, Jacobs is a scoring machine. He has 8 touchdowns through 6 games, 3 straight 2-touchdown games. Those are points. Those add up. So it might be a similar game to what it was last Thursday. It's going to be your typical Steeler game regardless. But if they can stop the run, if Love beats them like Flacco did, then all right, whatever. But they got to figure out a way, obviously, to do both, though, too. You got to stop the run, force the pass, but then, because offensively, they're going to, because you would like to be doing the same, be balanced. Consistency and momentum and rhythm, run to pass, throw to run. And so Green Bay on 2nd and 5 out of the gun, pass complete. Doubs once again, and Peyton Wilson on the tackle. So it's just defense just got to make a play, make a stop. I don't care what it's going to take, what you got to do. There's no other way around saying everything I've already said other than just making a play. So from the 29, 1st and 10. And a quick pass near side. And, they can't even tackle it. Before then, Peyton Wilson wraps them up from behind, but they're inside the red zone. And it might be 1st and goal from the 10. We'll see the spot. But they're going to answer here and try to respond with a field goal of their own to tie it up, let alone take a lead with a touchdown. So, this Steeler defense is once again one of the highest paid in the league. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the 16. So they say he stepped out way before the official tackle came in. But pass complete, Tucker Kraft. He gets inside the 5, let alone past the goal line for a Green Bay Packer touchdown. So they respond with 6, extra point to come here. And the Steeler defense, just as the offense goes and does something, the defense just lets them do what they want. They can't get off the field. Obviously, a couple good blocks there on the outside. And so, Tucker Kraft on the National Tight End Day gets in for 6, and here's McManus on for the extra point. It's up and good. So Green Bay now leads Pittsburgh 7-3 with 5:05 to play in this first quarter. So, yeah. Now the offense, hey, go score again. Because the way this defense is playing, it's just going to be a back and forth shootout. It's going to be really what defense bends but doesn't break, you know? And I mean, Green Bay's defense held the field goal. You gave up a touchdown. So what does that say is we'll move along? Well, yeah, exactly. They're scoring more points than you, and they're allowing less than obviously what they're scoring themselves. So just don't turn the ball over, because that's what Ditterman and normally does do teams in, is turnovers, because then opponents capitalize off of it, and then it's a difference in the game on whether you win or lose. And it was last week, among other things, as mentioned, with the defense playing as bad as they have been. Just back to the basics, you know? Like, come on. You got to learn how to wrap them up and tackle. Starts up front. You got to be able to block, protect, block to get after, or get off your block to get after the quarterback, stop the run. But football, the main thing other than blocking is tackling, you know? And obviously, yeah, you got to cover, but like, there's been a lot on the Steeler defense that's not that good. From the blocking, getting off blocks, to tackling, to covering, just everything. You know, it's just, is what it is. What can you do? We're not coaching or we're not playing. We're just sitting here watching it, analyzing the game. But it's coaches coach and players play. But yeah, missed tackle. And I mean, give Green Bay credit, but offensively, they got to keep running the football. Rodgers let him do his thing. And, I mean, from DK Metcalf, yeah, they had George Pickens, but then traded him. Okay? And then he's balling out in Dallas, but they wanted the drama gone, and wide receiver room has been better, you know, seemingly without, because it's like, you know, they get a receiver in there, and then it's rookie deal, and then they let him walk. You know, or they'll deal them like they did Pickens. We are. But, you know, yeah, just they need somebody to step up in the receiving game behind DK Metcalf. Because even though Calvin Austin's active, yeah, okay, Roman Wilson had that big catch, but that's one catch. So, and then what they do after? They only kicked the field goal. They couldn't score. They need somebody to step up behind DK, and that's why they use the tight ends as much as they have. You know, from Freiermuth to Smith to Washington to Hayward. Run it, Jalen Warren for 2, maybe 3. It's because there's nobody behind DK. There's not. And like I said, even though Calvin Austin's active, he's been in the league now for a couple years, missed one whole season, you know. Good in the return game at times, but he really hasn't done a hell of a lot. And that's why I said after last week's game, same thing as it was about a year ago at the trade deadline. We thought, oh, in the offseason, okay, they went out and traded for DK. Pass complete far side, Pat Freiermuth, there's a flag on the play, though. It's probably coming back. But they need a number 2 wide receiver. You know, last year it was they traded for Mike Williams. Illegal shift on the Steelers, so they replay it down. Obviously, they let him walk at the end of last season. He's since retired, I do believe. But, you know, okay, yeah, they had Pickens trade for Metcalf. Traded Pickens then. So it's back to just one receiver, you know. Obviously, I get money's going to come down to it because they would have to either sign Pickens an extension or let him walk after the season because they wouldn't deal him this year. That's why they dealt him when they did. But it's like, well, if you're still going to let him walk, he still probably could have got, good play out of him, even with all the fucking drama. That pass almost picked off far side. It's incomplete, 3rd and 13 coming up. But it's DK Metcalf, it's the tight ends, and it's nobody else. That's why they need to run the screen game, run the football, obviously. At least they have a running game, because if not, they don't have a damn thing on offense. And Rodgers would be a sitting duck. Still trying to make plays out of nothing. But that's why I said they need a number 2 wide receiver again. And I thought potentially it would have been a good idea to make a move after last week to get him equated for this game. With the schedule the way, it's going to be coming up. 3rd and 13, it's complete. Fryer moved to the 38, but he's way short of the marker. So 3 and out, they'll punt, and Green Bay's going to get the ball back with a lead up 4-7-3 here, 3 and change to play in the first. So they're going to try to extend their lead, kick field goal, still won't score a game, but they score a touchdown, you're in a hole down, 2 scores of 11, 15 minutes in, for God's sakes. And you're playing from behind, playing catch up at Heinz Field Acrisure Stadium there. So, yeah, just Corliss Waitman, who beat out Bill Burr in training camp for the punting job. Muffed it. He muffed it. Oh, but they recovered it. All right. Almost caught one there. Actually, the last time these 2 teams played, we'll get back to the wide receiver talking about it, but yeah, he muffed the punt, and Pittsburgh was about a second behind on recovering it, or the offense was back out there. And then a short field, capitalizing off a turnover, kicking on a field goal, you're still down a point, but you score, you're up 3, you force a kick, you're tied at 10, it's just back and forth from there then. But now, because maybe you catch a break on defense, you do force a turnover, because they almost muffed the punt there, but you got to stop the run, force pressure, get after Jordan Love, and we'll see what happens. This defense is going to make stops. I don't care where it's coming from. They just got to make stops. They just can't allow the opponent to do whatever the hell they want, because then you're done for. You're just done for. You are. Especially if the offense is going to be not doing a hell of a lot. Because even the Brown game 2 weeks ago, it was 3 field goals apiece, and then Rodgers had 2 passing touchdowns. That was the difference. And even back to the Minnesota game before the bye, they had that game, won with a lead, and then they only end up winning by 3 because the defense gave up a late touchdown. And, then the Vikings still almost got the ball back. Obviously, they only went 1-1 score. At New England, got blown out in their home opener, and only won, by a few week 1. And so it's just your typical Steelers. It's going to be a close 1-score game, nail-biter down to the finish. What's new? So I said, it's week 8, but the Steeler heart attack is right on time, right on schedule. So here we go. Get ready for it. It's coming at some point in time. I just don't know when. It hasn't already happened. Maybe we'll stroke out too. But anyways, it'll be Green Bay ball 1st and 10 when we come back. But I thought maybe they would have made a move for a wide receiver after last week's game. You played on a short week on a Thursday night. Yeah, okay, you come back. You see what happens last week. You see what happened or was going to happen this week in last week's game. That makes sense. And then maybe last Monday, Tuesday, you make a move. Nothing. Because at that rate, you get them ready for this game, they probably don't play anyway. Because then it's into next week and the following week and the week after that. Because now you play tonight, deadline is not this week, but a week from Tuesday, and they'll play next Sunday. So if they make a move, has a big hit near the marker, but he'll be down second on the yard beforehand. But yeah, you have the game tonight because they didn't make a move already. You play next Sunday. They're probably not going to make a move because they didn't make a move already, so they won't make a move from now until then. They'll wait till the deadline. But then it's, like I said, you just keep pushing it back. Because if you would have made a move already, whoever it would have been probably misses tonight's game. Maybe they might have played whoever, if they would have made a wide receiver move. Because you want to get ahead of the curve. You want to be, obviously doing your due diligence in the meantime, but go get who you want. If you got to give up whatever, then all right. But they'll say first down Green Bay. All right. Because then for him to get acquainted, whoever it might be, like I said, maybe might have played tonight, doubt it, so he's out. But then he could play next week, and that's still before the deadline. But no, since they didn't make a move already, and they're not going to make a move from now until next week, you keep pushing it back with, you have Colts next Sunday, deadline next Tuesday, 1st and 10 Green Bay, wide open, Tucker Kraft far side. He gets a first down and then some, cuts back in, out past midfield, 45-40, and then they finally wrap him up at the 38-yard line. Jesus Christ. Just pathetic by this defense. This defense just, they can't do a damn thing. Nothing. So, I mean, maybe because remember last year to the deadline, they also made a move for a defender in Preston Smith from, he's a former Packer, former Redskin. But, yeah, just, they need help in a few key areas, just like all teams do, no doubt. That's why there is a trade deadline. Because remember, the NFL trade deadline never really was a thing in season. It wasn't. That was always for baseball and basketball and hockey. But over the past 5, 8, 10 years or so, the NFL in-season trade deadlines become an active thing. But once again, since they didn't already make a move, they're probably not going to make a move from now until then. So that's 2 games you're not going to be with whoever, let alone, if you do make a move, that following Sunday maybe might play in 2 weeks' time when they go to LA on a Sunday night. But then if he doesn't play then, he's not playing until mid-November, and then it's back to a week and a half ago because it's a month to the day when they played the Bengals the first time when they're going to play them again, from October to November 16th. And as I said, they're going to keep pushing it back when they should be getting ahead of the curve and doing something. At least that's what I'd be doing, because then you get them acclimated, you get them accustomed, because then it's going to, everything hopefully works itself out down the stretch. And, more power, to the offense. Let alone the defense if it's somebody there too. But, yeah, obviously offense went 3 and out. After they kicked the field goal, defense gave up a touchdown. But now the defense back to allowing a drive here by the Packers, 2nd and 9 to 38, and Green Bay is going to look to extend their lead. So tackle for loss there, Darius Slay near side. That might actually do it for the first quarter. It'll be 3rd and long when we come back. Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That does it for the first 15. As the Packers lead the Steelers on Sunday Night Football 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. So defense needs to stop. Offense got to go roll. And this ain't golf. If it was, you'd be winning right now. But you need more points than your opponent in order to win. And then obviously, you do end up losing tonight. That's 2 in a row. And the schedule season ain't getting any easier. They'll have Sunday games whole month of November. They'll be in prime time a couple more times as well. going to count tonight, but which we talked about all that obviously a week and a half ago. Because you got the mini bye, you got the Sunday night game here tonight. You're at home next Sunday at 1, but then you go on the road again at night, and then it's home away home after Thanksgiving, or from then until after Thanksgiving, with some 1 and 4 o'clock games in there. But that's then. This is now, so just find a way, take care of business. All right, press will sort itself out, but not looking good right now. Even though it's 7-3, this defense could potentially be allowing another scoring drive here by the Packers. I mean, if anything, you force a kick. You know, you only allow a field goal, you're only down 1 score, then it's 7 as they were, or sorry, they weren't. They're only down 3. You would have been down 7 if you didn't kick the field goal, or let alone make it. But that's the thing, they couldn't capitalize off that big play. But they give up the big play. They're continuing to allow a drive here. And as I said, you got to force a kick, only be down 7 at 10-3 then, compared to give up another touchdown. You know, with the playmakers they have, you're down 2 scores with 11 then. And yeah, you'll get the ball back to begin the second half, but they're going to have something the other way. They need a spark. They need to stop on defense to start off with. 10 around the football, Rodgers does his thing, but we shall see. Still early, a lot of football to be played, but if this defense continues to allow this to happen, it's not going to be good. Jordan Love is 8 of 9, 104 yards and a touchdown in that first quarter. Rodgers 4 of 5, 54 yards. They have 3 carries for 10 yards to Jalen Warren. Josh Jacobs 3 of 12. And then obviously Tucker Kraft had the receiving touchdown from Love, and Boswell has a 56-yard field goal. But 3rd and 10 here from the 39 to begin the second quarter of play here for the Green Bay Packers as they lead the Steelers 7-3. Love going deep far side, and it's dropped. 10 for Romeo Doubs, incomplete, as he's wearing one of those Guardian caps on his helmet to help himself from potentially suffering a concussion. But safety-wise in the NFL, do those things even work? I mean, I get they add weight, but he just looked gay. 57-yarder from McManus. His kick is no good, short. So Pittsburgh will take over from that spot. 1st and 10, still down 4. 7-3 with 14:50 to play in this first half. And yeah, just about a yard short. And he can't believe it, as he was kicking balls in Philly at Temple, and then obviously was in the Mile High City with the Denver Broncos for a while, and then bounced around. He's been in Green Bay for about a year, and we had a made 56-yarder towards the river from Boswell, but then McManus misses a 57-yarder into the river for the Green Bay Packers. So it's still 7-3. He was just short on it, about a yard. So 1st and 10 here. Pittsburgh from the 47. Rodgers going to roll out now near side. Complete. DK Metcalf. And he gets a decent amount. But yeah, they'll show off Rodgers' legacy as he won 4 MVPs, which is second most in NFL history. Obviously won Super Bowl 45 and was Super Bowl MVP against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And yeah, all those passing touchdowns he threw, but he's been throwing a lot in Pittsburgh this year now as well. Recently, obviously, just surpassed former Packer quarterback and Brett Favre to move up the list for all-time passing touchdowns in NFL history. So,
Not even a little bit.
yeah.
I mean, he was as reflective as I.
Talking about this being a revenge game, and
He was going down memory lane and was very happy, sort of talking
yeah,
about his own
you can tell he wants to beat them, but he doesn't want to say it.
tail end of this year.
From the 39, 1st and 10, they fake the bubble screen and then toss it near side, and no gain on the play, 2nd down. So,
He said, Chris, if this was at Lambeau, it would be different.
yeah, he did say that. He did say if this was on the road in Green Bay at Lambeau Field, it would be different. Because he hasn't been back since he left.
And you look back and he said,
Because remember, he went into the darkness a couple years ago, and then they told him, hey, we're moving on. We're going to go with Jordan Love. And then they traded him to the Jets. And it's like, all right, well, he's going to go end up finishing his career with Minnesota Vikings just like Favre did. And that was still a possibility, after the Jets moved on from him, because, they drafted J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. Obviously, he's played very little in his young NFL career. But then from Sam Darnold balling out last year, and then they move on from him, and then, Carson Wentz is now in the Twin Cities. Rodgers, it was, all right, where's he going to go sign if he's going to go play? Deep ball in the end zone on 3rd and 3, intended for Metcalf, it's incomplete. So 4th down and kick it. Kick the field goal. This will be about a 49-yarder, maybe 50. At least you get your points. Yeah, hit him right in the hands, and little hand on the defender that falls incomplete. So Chris Boswell's kick from 50 officially is good. So, all right, you got of their 3 drives, 3 kicks, 2 of them for field goals and 6 points. Obviously, the other one was a punt, and then Green Bay went and scored. Green Bay scored after the first Steeler field goal. They missed the field goal after the Steeler punt, and then the Steelers go kick that field goal. So it's 7-6. So the point game, like I said earlier, though, too. When these two teams meet, the last times in Pittsburgh, it's a 1-score game. Total 15 points, 4, 3, 1, and 7 respectively. So, and then Super Bowl 45, obviously neutral site in Dallas, was also a 1-score game. So expect a close game. It ain't over until it's over, but get points there. They didn't have far to go to get into field goal range because obviously Green Bay had missed that long field goal themselves. Got a 1st down or 2 with a couple of runs and a couple of passes. They take the shot in the end zone, it's incomplete. But what can you do? You still kick it, and Boswell 2 for 2. They capitalized off of Green Bay's miss, so even better, unless it'd be 10-6. Well, really still 10-3, because then who knows if they even get in field goal range. One of those. But 7-6, early 2nd quarter. But defense, man, the defense needs to stop. They lucked out on the miss, when they forced the field goal. But they got to get off the field. They got to force a punt, get the ball back with some decent starting field position. But yeah, Rodgers at home here tonight with the Steelers taking on his former team, the Packers. But yeah, the Jets moved on from him, and it's like, well, is he still going to play? And the Steelers then ended up signing him to a 1-year deal back early June. And the rest has been history so far, but still up for a play here, just not like the rest of the season. So So the Packers return the kickoff, and they'll have a 1st and 10 with 12:12 to play in the half. Come on, defense. Where you at? Let's go. First and 10 from the 26. Love going to go deep near side, and it's incomplete. And no penalty. They say Dobbs and Joey Porter Jr. got tripped up, and they both fell down. So it's incomplete and no pass interference. And now we've got an injured Steeler. Yeah, they just got tripped up. Yeah, that is a good no call.
Both heads are back turned around, and either one of them could run. So injured Steeler on the field. Athletic training staff out, so we'll step up.
And with the injury, they'll take a commercial break, so we'll get back to the action here shortly. And I'll leave it at that. We'll see what the defense can do, and we'll go from there. Green Bay now going to have a 2nd and 10 with a 1.876 as we before too long near halftime.
Fresh Fit menu is cooking with the seasoned steak and avocado, stacked with 50% more shaved steak and a full serving of veggies, all under 500 calories. Keep moving with Subway's new Fresh Fit menu. Subway, eat fresh, feel good.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing the protection of this car. And that car.
Where do you even get this guy?
Kevin Barnes, Pete, Franklin Elementary. Okay. Satisfaction to see you.
Get ready to use about 500.
Think there's a shot to make the team?
No.
Respect the best. Respect ours. So don't settle for just any insurance. There's State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Trees will like a crazy bush. These delays. New November 7th on NBC and Peacock. Tuesday, the NBA on NBC. The Knicks and the Bucks. For those of you in the East and Central Time Zone, Clippers or Warriors. For those out west, the game you don't get on NBC. Streaming on Peacock.
2nd and 10 from the 26 after the injury timeout. Trips on a bunch. Top of your screen, Green Bay will run JJ, Josh Jacobs, Jingleheimer Schmidt, and he gets about a yard. Get off the field. Do not give up 10 yards on 3rd and 9. Pittsburgh bringing pressure. That's a hold. That is a hold. Love gets drilled. Oh, you're going to... Fuck off. Come on. There's a holding, but they're probably going to throw a late hit. No way. Come on. Yeah, he got drilled as he got rid of it. But TJ was being held the whole entire time and they don't throw it. But as soon as Love gets hit, they fucking throw the flag. Pick it up. That's not a penalty. No roughing the passer. Thank you. It's incomplete. 4th down. All right, well, illegal use of hands to the face on the offense, but penalties decline. Still 4th down, and they'll punt. Yeah, that is not roughing the passer. Thank you. So they got hands to the face rather than a hold. They pick up. Yeah, that's just a hit. That's fucking football. Like, you're going to call that roughing the pass, you might as well play 2-hand touch. They picked it up, but then still the penalty on hands to the face, but with the incompletion on 3rd down, you decline it, you force the punt, which they'll punt here, and Pittsburgh going to get the ball back. So 11-17 to play in the half, down a point. If you got to kick it again, okay, so be it. You take your points, you get yourself another lead. But you'd love to have a touchdown here because you just can't keep settling for 3 after 3 after 3. And Pittsburgh gets the punt return out 10, 15 yards or so. They'll take a quick split screen, 30-second commercial break, and we'll get back to the action. So 1st and 10, Steelers. Ball 36. They'll fake the run. Rodgers rolls out, and it's complete. And for a 1st down to the 49 goes Ben Skoranek. We've got some pushing and shoving. He's active tonight. Scotty Miller inactive. They did get Calvin Austin back at wide receiver, but obviously Roman Wilson had the big reception a little bit ago. But get these tight ends going now too, and keep running the football and run the screen game. Like I said, they got to score touchdowns. They can't keep settling for 3. They'll toss Warren. He cuts back in, and he'll get a yard, maybe to the 50. 2nd down. Yep, and go to the other.
It is, and one of the really interesting parts about it is, in talking with some of the Green Bay Packers, they see it as 2 different offenses. You got Arthur Smith's offense, and you got Aaron Rodgers spread them out offense. And so it's kind of hard to tell, but the blend is pretty effective.
2nd and 8 from midfield. Rodgers avoids pressure. And just will throw it away out of bounds, incomplete. He says to the Green Bay sideline, here, catch this. So incomplete, 3rd and 8. Still would like to, convert here and keep this drive going and, get some points, but you don't. You pin them deep, you make them drive, and you hope to get another stop on defense. So, Kenneth Gainwell in the ball game. Rodgers on 3rd and 8. Gonna step up, avoid sack down the middle, high, and incomplete. But there is a flag on the play. It was intended for DK Metcalf. Yeah, it might be defensive holding, defensive pass interference, because he lobbed it up to him, but he was about a step or two behind, because before the pass was thrown, holding on the defense. Should be a spot foul. Yeah, it is. Automatic first down.
Don't take anything away because he just saved the touchdown right there. Exit on the outside with the penalty. But the leaping, jumping play by Williams saved that day. That was going straight to the end zone.
So they got the holding on the defender on Calvin Austin, even though the pass was intended for DK Metcalf. It's still first down here for the Steelers. But from the 45, 1st and 10, they'll run it. Warren up the middle, bulldozing forward for 9, 2nd and short. Give it to him again.
Jalen Warren's been fun to watch, hasn't he? And basically he's had a chance to take over for Najee Harris. And he's not a big guy. He's only 5'8", but weighs about 215.
He's a bowling ball of a bulldozer, Chris Collinsworth. He rams his way forward. So 2nd and a yard. And they'll toss it to him again. And he'll get the first down to the 30. So they're using Spencer Anderson, 74, as an extra lineman. But then also in as a tight end and send him in motion. I mean, hell, he caught a pass on the opening drive. From the 30, 1st and 10. Wilson in motion. And they'll fake the end around. Run it again, but he's going to lose 5 yards. Yeah, I think Siamalu got beat at left guard. And nothing to do there. Handoff's already given to him. And yeah, tackles were lost. So 2nd and long, 2nd and 15 back to 35. They'll fake the run the screen to Gainwell near side. And then he gets 2 yards. So it'll be 3rd and 13. But at least they're in field goal range. So if they don't convert, you're kicking the field goal. Okay, just don't fucking turn it over. I'd rather have a lead than be down 1. Especially with 7 minutes to play in the half. Green Bay does have 2 timeouts. Pittsburgh will all 3. Yeah, 2-minute warning as well. Who knows what's going to happen from now until then. Play clock wanting. Now, they might actually call one of these timeouts to make sure they're set on 3rd long. 3, 2, 1. And they get it off. All right. And then they dump it off. And inside the 30 to the 24 goes Jonnu Smith. So now it's going to be 4th and 4 from the 24. Kick it, take your points. Yep. Like I said, I'd rather have a 2.97 lead than be down 1 at 7-6. Now 6.5 to play in the first half. Timeouts, 2-minute warning, all that, yeah. But Pittsburgh, if they can get another stop, okay, even better. But they're still going to get the ball back to begin the second half. So here's the Wizard of Oz, Chris Boswell. And a late whistle. And flag on the play. And before the snap, false start on the Steelers. So rather than whatever that distance was, it's going to be 5 yards further now. Just stupidity.
They're forced to check it down because of the threat of this pass rush. So it's why it's so important for the Steelers offense to stay on.
So Boswell on to kick it again. Another, damn near 50-yard field goal. This will be 48 officially. Snap, hold, kick, all good. So Pittsburgh's back up as they were at 3-0 and down 7-3, down 7-6. They lead 9-7 with 5:52 to play in the half. And yeah, just got to get a stop here before halftime if they can. If you give up anything, hey, give up a touchdown, give up a field goal, not a touchdown. Even if you do give up a touchdown, you're still only down 5. It's still one score, but you know, I'm trading 1 and 2, maybe 3, 4 points back and forth, but not 6 and 7. Hopefully they can score a touchdown here before too long. Like I said, that Brown game 2 weeks ago, they had 3 field goals, you know, for 9 points. And then Cleveland ended up, you know, with a total of 9 points when it was all said and done. It was never, you know, this close or anything like that. You know, because Pittsburgh was up, you know, 9-0, and then I believe Cleveland might have kicked the field goal by then, so 9-3. But, you know, Pittsburgh had scored a couple touchdowns, had a couple passing touchdowns. That was the difference in that game, you know, in the 23-9 win. But 9-7, it's 2, still one score game. Give up a field goal, all right, be down a point again, but even give up a touchdown, all right, whatever. But you don't want to give up anything. But give up anything, give a field goal here. But regardless of all, if they can make a stop and get the ball back and maybe still do something before halftime, even better, because they're still going to get the ball back to begin the second half. So I don't know about a 2-for-1, you know, just because of the time right now. If they're going to be getting the ball back right now, most definitely, yes. You work clock, you go score before halftime. They don't touch it again until mid-third quarter because you hope, you know, to score on your opening third quarter drive because you get the ball back. But we'll see here what happens. Just got to get a stop. But if they can get a stop, maybe do get that 2-for-1. Maybe do go score. Whether it's another field goal, even better. You know, you're up 5, then 12-7. Because then if you score again or order on your opening drive, kick another field goal, you're up 1 score at 8, 15-7. But if you score a touchdown, if you can get another field goal prior to that, you're up 2 scores, 12, 19-7. But then if you know, only get a touchdown from now until then, at some point in time, hopefully, they can finally find the end zone, not have to settle for 3 other goddamn time. You're still going to be up 2 scores at 9 at 16-7. And then overall, the pressure is going to be on Green Bay in the second half to do something. So, and then obviously the crowd's going to feed off of a lead. Defense hopefully can get a stop. I mean, they're doing a good job stopping Josh Jacobs. They got to get pressure on Jordan Love, and turnover or something would be nice. So Green Bay kicks it off, and they'll 1st and 10. As they trail once again, they're down 3-0, but they went and scored. Led 7-3, led 7-6. They've done a good job of keeping Pittsburgh out of the end zone, obviously, forcing 3 field goals. But the Steeler defense needs a stop. They just can't allow, with the offense getting points, whether it's field goals or touchdowns, they just can't allow whoever they're playing, they do it all the damn time, Green Bay tonight, to go let them score. That's exactly what just happened. So, got to get a stop on defense here. 1st and 10, Green Bay from 34-yard line. And Jordan Love will dump it off to his tight end, and then a big hit. Chuck Clark and is that Patrick Queen, 6? But, yeah. 2nd down. Second and 6 from 38. And then a handoff. Jacobs gets 3. Cam Hayward, Sean Elliott, among a few others on the gang tackle. Big down. Come on, defense. It's 3rd down. Come on, defense. Let's get a stop. From the 41, 3rd and 3. Jordan Love his pass falls incomplete over the middle. 10 for Kraft, and double thud. I think it hit him in the chest and he dropped it. Yeah, that should have been a catch, first down, but he might have heard footsteps from Peyton Wilson and Patrick Queen. But hey, the defense gets a stop. So it's now back to with what I was, saying hypothetically, potentially if they did get a stop, now with 4:13 to go in the half, 3 timeouts, 2-minute warning, that's an eternity. 4:13, 3 timeouts plus 2-minute warning, so 4 timeouts in 4 minutes and 13 seconds to go score. I mean, you're going to go get points, hopefully, one way or another. Fair catch at the 16. So now, obviously, they have the length of the field to go, but yeah, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, not Green Bay, Wisconsin, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But you got to go score. You have 4 minutes, now 6 seconds. But 3 timeouts, 2-minute warning, so 4 timeouts. To extend your lead, get a 2-for-1 double dip because you're going to get the ball back to begin the second half. Like I said, I'll take a field goal if it comes down to it because you've had to already kick 3 of them. At least you have those 9 points. You have to kick it again, you're up 5, then 12-7. You kick it again early third quarter, you're up 8 at 1 score, then. If you kick it, score a touchdown, get a mix and match of some sorts, you're up 12. But just 2 scores at 19-7. If they, get a touchdown now, touchdown later, that's even better. That's 23-7. I'll take 1 touchdown for sure to get it to 16-7, because then that's still 2 scores at 9 points. So if you got to kick it, but they got to score points. They got to find the fucking end zone, man. And who's it going to be on offense? Because they still have a running game here with Jaylen Warren. Rodgers, almost 100 yards passing. Just no turnovers, because it was about this point in time, week and a half ago on Thursday night, they started turning the ball over. And then that final few minutes before halftime is what came back to bite them in the ass. And even with a game-winning field goal, after they had scored to go up, gave up the, field goal, they still had the chance for the Hail Mary and were so close to, making it, but they didn't. They lost. So you just can't turn the ball over. You just can't turn the so don't turn the ball over. Okay, just flat out, do not turn it over. If they do, you're just giving Green Bay a reason to, do something and potentially beat you. So they got to go score here, and obviously hope to score early third quarter, because then, as momentum's a real thing, whether you believe that or not, it is. You're going to have that come in the third quarter if you get points now and then. To put the pressure on Green Bay in the second half, to just, grind it out and find a way to win it. So they'll run Warren again near side on a toss, and I believe he got enough for a first down. We'll see the spot. They'll say second and inches officially. So Rodgers is going to be up under center. And they'll toss it again. And Warren will bounce it, get the first down, lower the shoulder, and get to the 42. So they'll move the sticks, and 1st and 10 Pittsburgh. Keep, just inching your way forward. First down. Work. Just drive, go forward rather than backwards. Go drive and score. And Warren easily could have ran out of bounds. but he cut back in and then like hit me. You know, he went after the defender. So 1st and 10 here, Pittsburgh. Turbo set, and then they run a bubble screen, complete Calvin Austin. He gets almost enough for a first down. It'll be about 2nd and 3, maybe 2nd and 2. They don't have to snap it or they don't want to here. Prior to the 2-minute warning, there's about a 7-second differential. 2nd and 3 officially. I mean, maybe take a shot. Why not? But like I said, don't turn the ball over. You know, you're going to be in a position here to get points before halftime, then get points again, you know, early third quarters. You're getting the ball back to begin the second half. 2nd and 3, handoff Gainwell. Kenny G bounces it far side. Lowers the shoulder before he gets out for a Pittsburgh Steeler first down. And, okay, that'll take us now to the 2-minute warning with 1:57 to play officially. And they're in Packer territory, knocking on the door, looking to extend their lead. So hopefully they can do just that before halftime, and then they'll, like I said, get the ball back to begin the second half. And, you know, you're hoping to score then too. You're just looking to score as many points as you can. You know, obviously one more than the opponent. They came up, you know, too shy of a tie, you know, game we can have ago. But because of turnovers and the defense is playing that great. I mean, defense, after, you know, slow start tonight, and they gave up that touchdown, and then gave up almost a field goal drive. But remember, Green Bay missed that, or else they'd have 10 points, and Pittsburgh would still be down. And then it's just a field goal game, even though they have the touchdown, and that's the difference on the 1 point. But the defense has locked down since, you know, this game has, you know, progressed a little bit. So if they can go score here before halftime, they're going to be in a good spot. Be in a damn good spot. Just can't turn the ball over. Just cannot turn it over. No turnovers. So 1st and 10 here, Pittsburgh, ball 37-yard line. They'll run Gainwell again. He'll spin, get about a yard, maybe 2. 2nd down. 1:50 now and counting. Remember, they still got 3 timeouts. But, you know, you obviously probably don't want to. Yeah, that's a false start. But, yeah, really. Quick pass, complete near side. I was going to say, you don't want to give, you know, Green Bay any time. But be 3rd and 9. Yeah, it's just crazy. So 3rd and 9. Hey, can you get a couple yards and kick it? You know, rather than if you can't get a first down. Just don't go backwards. Green Bay's bringing pressure. Rodgers going deep, and that's PI. Thank you. 10 for Calvin Austin, and because of the pressure, it forced a quick pass. The DB wasn't ready for it, and Calvin Austin, who was the intended target, pass interference, Packers. Be a spot foul. So inside the red zone, 1st and 10. But yeah, the DB never turned around. So that's a penalty all day. So 1st and 10, Pittsburgh. Minute 22 now to go in the half. Up 2-9-7. Ball at the 15 officially after the pass interference. Just don't turn it over. Run Warren. And they will. And Jalen Warren up the middle for 4, maybe 5. 2nd down. Yeah, like I said, drain this clock as best and most you can. You don't want Green Bay to get the ball back. If they do get the ball back, you don't want them to have any time. 2nd and 7 now, under a minute to go in the half. From the 12, 2nd and 7. The run that way, Rodgers rolls, and play action complete to DK Metcalf. He gets inside the 5 of the 2. They'll have a 1st and goal there with 37 seconds. And 37 seconds and 3 timeouts, that's still a hell of a lot of time. Run the goddamn ball. Punch this in. You cannot settle for 3 now. I mean, I'm still kicking it and taking it, because points, you want to extend your lead. But run the ball and get across the goal line, so to speak, into the end zone for 6. Because if they get a touchdown here, obviously those will cancel out, and then the difference is Pittsburgh's 3 field goals. And then it's the serial killer, and it's the Wizard of Oz, Chris Boswell. Fake the run, fake the go route, and on a fade, come back on the slant. And Rodgers finds DK Metcalf for 6. He has now scored in every game this season, other than 2, which one last week, and also week 1. But 15-7, yeah, you kick it because you go up 9 then, which is a 2-score game, rather than going for 2 here to make it a 10-point game at 17-7, because if you don't get it, it's still 15-7 at a 1-score 8-point game. So they kick the extra point. Pittsburgh's now up 16-7, a 9-point, 2-score lead. As we near halftime, Green Bay will get the ball back with about, 30 seconds, 2 timeouts here. And but remember, Pittsburgh still getting the ball back to begin the second half because they kicked off to begin tonight's game. That's the first half of the double dip, and a 2-for-1, hopefully, potentially. We'll see. We'll update some stats here at halftime, but it took them a little bit, especially with defense to lock down, but then the offense to really get a drive going and score, a touchdown rather than have to settle for 3. I mean, I'm still kicking it there if you don't, score. Points are points. I'd rather be up 5 than 2. A lead's a lead. Still 1 score, I get it, but you don't know what the hell's going to happen. But at least they finally were able to find the end zone. And it's a Rodgers to Metcalf, 8-4 for 6. Make it 7 with number 9's extra point. So 16-7 is 2-score 9-point game once more. And they're going to get the ball back to begin the second half. So just don't give up, a big play here now before halftime and allow them to kick a fucking field goal. Because if they're only up 6, at 1 score. But then if so, you're still getting the ball back to begin the second half. You could kick a field goal, you're back up the 9 you are right now if that happens. Or even better, you score another touchdown. You just keep extending your lead. put the pressure on the Packers. You don't want it on yourself. You want it on the opponent. And, I mean, if they have a lead into the fourth quarter, and the defense is, with this crowd hyped up, obviously, but defense getting stops. I'm not saying ball game just yet, but because it's still not even fucking halftime. This defense, though, got to keep getting stops if they can, because we have yet to have a turnover. That's the thing. Pittsburgh's +5 in the turnover margin. They've almost had, damn near, I don't know how many interceptions the past 2 games. I've lost count. Even with, them not being able to cover, let alone tackle at times. They, turned the ball over last week. It cost them, but defensively, they're getting turnovers, but not just quite yet tonight. So, if they can, as that ball will go in the end zone and out of bounds, so they'll roll it a touchback. See where they mark this at, because I couldn't tell you if it landed in that stupid ass landing zone they have or not. I mean, the kickoff and the returns, it is what it is this year. It has gotten a little bit better, I will say that. But 1st and 10, Green Bay from the 20. 34 seconds, 2 timeouts. Yeah, don't allow them to get a fucking thing here before halftime. Jordan Love dumps it off. Josh Jacobs will get out of bounds after a 9-yard pickup. So clock going to stop, obviously, 27 seconds. They got a 2nd and short coming up. They still got 2 timeouts, down 9. Yeah, the defense is locked down. But the difference now in this game, once more, is the 3 Chris Boswell field goals. So at least they were able to settle, for 3 and bank on that when it came down to it. Second and 2 officially for Green Bay. Love near side, high but caught. And they're going to say bobbled, incomplete. No, they're going to say catch. I'd have to take a look at that. That's a catch. All right, that's a catch. So, 1st and 10, Green Bay. Ball, the 48-yard line, 50-yard line. Even though they got out of bounds, they're still going to call a timeout here. Stop the clock. Make sure they're set. They'll have 18 seconds and a timeout now to get into field goal range, let alone, hopefully not scoring a touchdown here, because then you're back to, 2 per game. But first and 10 from the 47. And dump off. Jacobs again. Flag on the play. But they wrapped him up. So clock should be winding, but because of the flag on the play, clock stopped. And then the refs were getting hit with the football. Personal foul. Face mask on the defense. All bullshit. 15 yards, first down. And now they're in field goal range because of that.
Pretty easy to see that, right underneath the chin, and that hurts. And that stuff happens so fast. It's like you think you're hitting the guy in the chest, and it slides right up under the chin, and then it's hard to get it off of there. But you usually see it that quickly.
12 seconds. One timeout. Field goal Bears 54 yards. Remember, McManus was short for 57.
So 1st and 10, Green Bay from the 36 now after the penalty. 12 seconds and a timeout. And over the middle, it's caught. And about 9, maybe 10, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. They can call their timeout or not. All right, they will with 2 seconds. And now Brandon McManus will kick a field goal going into halftime. So I said he can't give up anything here, but they're going to give up 3, it looks like. But at least they scored. Because then if they would have kicked a field goal on their last drive, it'd be 12-7, 12-10 if he makes this. Obviously, they scored a touchdown 16-7, but if he makes it, 16-10. Misses again, it's still 16-7. Because remember, he missed from 7. So he has that. Or if they have that, plus they have this, they're only down 3, 13 at halftime. And it's a whole new ball game, even with Pittsburgh getting the ball back in the second half. Because that would be another touchdown. He missed it again, wide left, no good, from 44. So now Pittsburgh will hold the 16-7 lead at halftime, still get the ball back to begin the second half, and still have a chance to double dip. Yeah, he just hooked it left. He was short on a 57-yarder, and he hooked it left on 44. So, yeah, it's 16-7 because of 2 missed field goals. But if they have the one, let alone both of them, it's either 16-10, 16-13, and it's close. A hell of a lot closer than it is now. See what Mike Tomlin has to say. Yeah, they did quit shooting themselves in the foot. Yeah. But they missed it, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, one thing at a time. So it's 16-7 at halftime. Brett Michaels to perform at halftime. They're not going to show it. I can already bet you any money. They'll show up highlights, talk about this and that around the league. We'll update some stats and scores, recap, preview as always. So stay tuned. Just once again, thanks for tuning in and watching. But yeah, 16-7 at halftime. They luck it. Finally find pay dirt. Go up 9. Green Bay had already missed a field goal, missed another one before halftime. I mean, if they have those kicks, it's, a 6-point, 3-point game, not 9. And 9's 2 scores. So that's big. It is. Especially with Pittsburgh going to get the ball back. I mean, even so, say they do have the one field goal, let alone both of them, at 16-10, 16-13. Pittsburgh goes and scores a touchdown, though, to begin the third quarter. It's 23-10, 23-13, and it's still a 2-score game, then at 10, let alone 13 points. The biggest lead of the night for either team, for that matter. Because remember, Pittsburgh was up 3 and then down 7-3 and then down 7-6 and then up 9-7 and then, it's 16-7. So they scored before halftime, do give up the field goal, but Green Bay missed both of them. So it's still 16-7, and then they're going to get the ball back to begin the second half. So go score. Go run the football. Go work clock. Go score. I'll take another field goal. It's a 12.2 score game then at that rate, at 19-7. But if you can score a touchdown, even better. You're up, 2 scores then at 16 at 23-7. But then if, the defense would start shitting bed in the second half down the stretch, 2 touchdowns and 2 separate 2-point attempts, if successful, would tie it then at 23. So, just Pittsburgh has momentum. They got to keep it on their side the rest of this game. They're up 16-7 at halftime, getting the ball back to begin the second half. They got to go run the football, work clock, score points, and get them off the field on defense. If they can do that and not, shoot themselves in the foot with any, penalties or turnovers, they'll be fine and they'll win this game. We'll see, though, because that's a half of football. Who knows what the second half is going to have in store. It's close. Could be a hell of a lot closer. but obviously, thankful it's not. But there's still more football here tonight to be played. So I'll leave it at that. We'll see what happens, but we'll look at the stats here once again. But yeah, if they can run the football and work clock, those are going to be two of the biggest things, for them to get the win here tonight now with the 9-point lead they have at halftime. Because then it's just more pressure on Green Bay to make stops, get off the field when you're just hopefully running it down their throat. And then you're winning, time possession, controlling the clock. You're doing what you want to do, with the game on the line and for a chance to win it, So 16-7 at halftime as Rodgers and the Steelers, not the Packers, are up on his first former team in Green Bay. They said this is the most points the Steelers have scored in a single half since week 1, which was against Rodgers' second former team, the New York Jets, I might add. So the Steelers have showed up, and they're playing strong. They know what's on the line. And they're trying to get back. Obviously, they're winning ways coming off of a loss. So, yeah, you can hear Brett performing in the background as NBC rolls on with halftime. But they got to control the rest of this game the best they can. If they can, one play at a time. Like I said, no penalties and or turnovers. If they start shooting themselves in the foot again, Green Bay's going to have a chance, to come back. So, yeah, once again, if they can run the ball and work clock, I think they'll be fine. If Rodgers does this thing on top of that, they continue to get DK, Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson, Skoranek, and the tight ends with Spencer Anderson as an extra lineman playing tight end tonight as well, and the blocking running game, and has a catch as well. Just, get targets and make catches and move the football, because I think they said he had 9 completions to 9 different players in this first half. Record for him was like 12 a couple years ago in Green Bay. But yeah, if they, one thing at a time, just don't fuck it up, Like, they have a chance just not to win this game right now. But early third quarter, if this defense continues to play, the way they played after a rocky start again, and all last week, obviously, to potentially, I'm not saying put this game away early third quarter, but it's going to be a hard for the Packers to come back to. Just not, yeah, they're allowed to make plays, but score as many points as they're going to have to score if it does come down to that. That's why I said if Pittsburgh can control, the one thing at a time with more so the running game and the clock than anything else, and not turn the ball over and no penalties. Like, don't give them a fucking reason to come back to beat you. You have them right where you want them at. So, yeah, if they can run the ball, work clock, Rodgers continues to do his thing, no turnovers, no penalties, they get off the field on defense, got to kick it every once in a while, then so be it, you're up 9, it's 2 scores once again, so then they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Yeah. We'll see. Because like I said, 16-7, you kick a field goal, it's 19-7. It's 2 scores at 12. You go score a touchdown, it's 23-7. Pressure's on, Green Bay to, go score and go score quick. So, because then defensively, because they're doing a good job at stopping the run, which Green Bay, I wouldn't think they'll abandon the run, but I don't know. Because obviously Josh Jacobs, as many touchdowns he has this year, they're going to want to try to find him in the end zone if they can. But, if they continue to stop the run and Green Bay is one-dimensional and you have a lead, let the defense eat. Let them go do their fucking thing. Because at that rate, that's when the turnovers are going to come into play, I would think. You're hoping to just find a way to win this game. You have them right where you want them at, so don't leave them off the hook. So, there's Brett. They do show it. Holy shit. Yeah. Back in his home state. Obviously from Butler, Mechanicsburg. As he'll get the terrible towels going with all Steeler Nation. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. He was walking around in the woods earlier today, I saw. But anyways, he's performing at halftime and keeping this crowd pumped up. And gonna need sticks and some old mama play renegade, in the third, fourth quarter when the situation arises to really help out, because as of late when they play renegade, it hasn't worked. It hasn't. It just hasn't. The offense will score and, the defense back out there, opponent has the ball back, and then they'll cue it and screen will go black, and then it really hasn't had that much of an effect this year. It hasn't. Because then they'll just go fucking score on it. Like, it feels like it's becoming a thing teams are anticipating and they're ready for it now, rather than what it used to be. So we need that to change and have it go back, obviously, to what it was. That's still a ways off there this second half. But, it's still probably, if I'd have to guess, even with a 9-point, 16-7 lead here at halftime, it's probably still going to fucking come down to the wire one way or another. Like, it's a Steeler game, okay? Like, shouldn't expect anything less. If they can extend it, though, like I said, run the ball, work clock, just do what they got to do. Keep scoring points, find a way to win. They'll be all right. But, So I'll leave it at that. There's not really much else to be said. I think we're going to be kicking off the second half here in a minute anyways. But as we hit 10 o'clock, we sit at halftime on Sunday Night Football with the Pittsburgh Steelers up 16-7 on the visiting Green Bay Packers here tonight. And Jordan Love against his former colleague, as obviously Rodgers was in his position against Brett Favre when Favre had played the Packers after he left Green Bay. Jordan Love is 13 of 18 for 146 yards passing and a touchdown. Yeah, they've stopped the run. Green Bay has 7 carries for 19 yards total as a team. And Josh Jacobs has 5 of those 7 carries for 16 yards. Tucker Kraft, 2 of 49 receiving and a touchdown. Romeo Doubs, 2 catches, 30 yards. Watson, 2 of 24. Malik Heath, 2 of 22. Josh Jacobs has 2 catches, 10 yards. Truly the difference in this game with the 2 touchdowns from Jordan Love to Tucker Kraft and Aaron Rodgers to DK Metcalf. The difference in this game is special teams, Pittsburgh has 3 field goals from Chris Boswell from 56, 50, and 48. And Brandon McManus for Green Bay has missed from 57, just short, and then he hooked a 44-yarder left. Both no good. So 2-score, 9-point game at 16-7 because of the missed field goals, or it would be, 16-10, 16-13 here at halftime. Pittsburgh still getting the ball back, though, to begin the second half. As Aaron Rodgers is 11 of 15, 102 yards passing, and a touchdown against his former team. They have a running game as well, which is a good thing. Jalen Warren, 10 of 50. Kenneth Gainwell has 5 carries, 31 yards as well. As Pittsburgh will return the kick, and something came flying. I think everybody thought that was the ball, but it looked like either a cleat or a glove or something. But Roman Wilson in the first half, the one catch for 45 yards. On the opening drive, obviously, they had to settle for 3. But the 3 field goals and the 2 missed field goals are the difference in this game. DK Metcalf, 3 catches, 17 yards, and a touchdown. Skowronek has a catch for 13 yards. Jonnu Smith has a catch for 10 yards. Calvin Austin, 1 of 7. Pat Freiermuth, 1 of 5. Spencer Anderson, the backup lineman, who they're bringing in to block and then also catch. He has a catch for 4 yards. Rodgers rolls out on 1st and 10 on the opening play of the second half and throws it away out of bounds and complete. Gainwell has a catch for a yard, and Jalen Warren also the same stat line, a catch for 1 yard. Peyton Wilson, 6 total tackles on defense. They have 1 tackle for loss. It's Darius Slay, 0 sacks on Jordan Love. So I'm telling you, force pressure on him. And then Boswell, 3 of 3 on his field goals from 56, 50, and 48. So 10 total points for him with the extra point on the touchdown as well. And the Steelers lead by 9. So if that doesn't tell you, that, then I don't know what does. 2nd and 10, and complete to Freiermuth near side for 2. He just celebrated a birthday. It is National Tight End Day as well, but he's down, injured, slow to get up, and hopefully he's okay. Never want to see anybody get hurt, but cannot afford having him go down. Yeah, big hit to the right groin, it looked like. And then obviously the whole right leg from, the hip, groin with the hammy, the knee, the shin. We saw Scadaboo have his ankle ripped off his leg earlier today, obviously, and then the foot with all of your toes. But Freiermuth's slow to get up, but he gets up, walks off. Hopefully he's okay, but they're going to need somebody to step up at tight end behind him. But they have Jonnu Smith, Darnell Washington, and Connor Hayward. And then obviously I was just talking about Spencer Anderson, backup lineman they're using him for protection purposes, reporting as eligible, and then he's, catching the ball. But then even more so now, wide receiver, DK Metcalf, with Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson, So 3rd and 8 here on the opening drive of the 3rd quarter. And Green Bay jumps off sides. Rodgers got a free play. And it's down the middle, incomplete at midfield. And where's the, no fucking flag? Come on. Where's the offside on that? And now they're not saying offside. There's no penalty. Are you kidding me? He's clearly offside. He is clearly offside. And it should have been an offside. They don't even blow it dead. And, 4th and 8, Rodgers, bitching at the refs as everybody's booing, and rightfully so. Now the refs are huddling up because they know they fucked up. This will be the latest offside penalty you'll ever see. And, can they review this? He's clearly offside by a mile. There's no foul on the play. It's 4th down. Get the fuck out of here. Go to hell. Oh, my God. Well, You better give us a fucking makeup call here at some point in time, then. I'll say that much. He's clearly offside. And Rodgers thought he had the free play. That's why he chucked it deep. And then it's incomplete at midfield, intended for Roman Wilson, as mentioned. But now Pittsburgh will punt on the opening drive of this second half. Waitman kicks it to the 22. There's a flag on the play. Who would have thought? Yeah, that's just a fucking makeup call if this is against Green Bay here. Just to save their ass. He was clearly offside. How did they miss that? Holding on the return. Half the distance. And it's a first down for Green Bay. They'll take a timeout. But, yeah, and that's clearly a penalty too. But remember, Pittsburgh shouldn't even had to have punted. Because on third down, they got the offside. But they didn't call it. So they had to punt. Yeah, I was saying about Danny Smith earlier. The last time these two teams met, that was the game. He got tackled on the sideline as the game expired and was over. And he fucking tore his rotator cuff and had to get surgery. But him and his bubble gum did not care. So this defense, well, he's not all out of bubble gum, but they are. Hopefully they can go kick ass here and take some fucking names. 1st and 10 from the 10. Get after him. Make him pay. So they'll run it. Jalen Ramsey on the tackle. No gain. 2nd and 10. Yeah. I mean, how do you miss that offside? He's clearly offside. So come on, defense. Let's go. And we'll update some total team stats here in a minute as well. But Pittsburgh is controlling the clock by a good 6 minutes, which is crucial with the 9-point lead they have and the run game that they have as well. If they can continue to add on to that, they'll be fine. Get after them. Pass complete. Chuck Clark on the tackle. So 3rd down. And it's 3rd down. Come on, defense. Yeah, how was that not offside? I mean, come on. So 3rd and 5. Or they'll call offside on Pittsburgh here before too long. You know, something like that. They get to Love, he gets rid of it, and it's caught out of fucking nowhere. Come on. And now he's off to the races, breaking tackles. You gotta be kidding me. And then Deshaun Elliott's hurt, it looks like, holding his right knee. Jesus Christ. Just a fucking prayer as he gets drilled. And the DB just stood there and watched him catch it and then took off running. Good God. Yeah, Deshaun Elliott on the coverage, and Deshaun Elliott's down injured. And it goes back to the offside they didn't call. So it'll be 1st and 10 Green Bay, but we got a timeout here, it looks like. Yeah. Good God. All right, team stats now early 3rd quarter rather than at halftime. Pittsburgh has 10 first downs compared to Green Bay's 9. Neither team converting on 3rd down. Green Bay is 1 of 5. Pittsburgh 1 of 6. Pittsburgh only has 180 total yards. 99 passing and 81 rushing, when Green Bay has 229 total, but they don't have a running game. They have 19 yards rushing on the 210 passing. Both teams have scored in the red zone. Difference still in this game is the field goals. Pittsburgh has 3. Green Bay's missed 2. 4 penalties. Should be more against the Packers, but it's not. No turnovers by either team right now. And then, time possession, 18:47 for the Steelers and 13:54 for the Packers. So I'll leave with that, and we'll get back to this third quarter in a minute. Defense needs to stop. Thought offensively they're going to continue the drive. No offside, though. What it is, you got to play through it, so move on. But, I thought they were going to get off the field there on third down, but they give up a big pass play. So now Green Bay's in field goal range and, going to hope to cut this lead with, either a field goal or a touchdown. Down 9 at 16-7. So obviously field goal will make it 6. Field goal here after they had the other 2 would be tying this game up at 16, I might add. But then they score a touchdown and you're only down, 2 down at 14. So, we'll see. That's just a fucking dagger on, not back-to-back plays, but 2 out of 4 plays, 5 plays, you just did not fucking go your way. Honestly, that pass probably should have been picked off, But now Elliott getting help to the sideline, cannot put any pressure on that right leg, his right knee. And, that doesn't look good. He has since already returned from one injury already this year. And now that one might put him out for a while. So now, with needing help at wide receiver, needing help elsewhere on defense, they're going to need, help to fill his spot if he's going to be done for the year. Obviously, Miles Killebrew suffered a knee injury, and he's done for the year earlier, a couple weeks ago. But he's more of a special teams player, but can play on defense if needed. But now they're getting, bit by the injury bug here again. But 2nd and 4 for Green Bay. See if the Steelers can force a kick. Ball for 20, 2nd and 4. Watson in motion, and they'll run Josh Jacobs, and he'll cut and get a yard, maybe 2. 3rd down. Keep him out of the end zone. But then they kick it. They haven't made one of those 2 field goals yet tonight. But if they would have them, they kick it again here. Like I said, we're tied at 16. It's a whole new ballgame then. But big 3rd down here for the defense. Turnover would be nice. Turnover would be awesome right about now. 3rd and a long 2 from inside the 20. And they'll run it, and no, he will not get it. 4th down. Peyton Wilson and Cam Hayward on the tackle. 4th and 1, and it looks like Green Bay is going to go for it. They say, fuck the field goal, even though it would make it a 1-score game at 6. If they make it, remember they missed the 2, so he's obviously not kicking it here. But 4th and 1, if they can get a stop here, even though they, didn't do anything on the opening drive, obviously have the offside, didn't get called, you have the big pass play, 4th and a yard, it's complete, and they do get the 1st down. So now they got goal to go, it looks like, inside the 10 as he jumps up. But, I was going to say, if they can get off the field and get a stop here, you hold the 9-point lead, and then, you still hope to go score and extend it, and pressure's on Green Bay to, do even more then with less time then in the second half. But they convert, they get the down, and wide open in the flat, and they'll move the sticks. So, 1st and goal, Packers now at the 10. 9:39 and counting to play in the 3rd. And T.J. Watt off the edge gets to Jordan Love. He dumped off a tight end screen. He gets 2 yards on the reception, does Tucker Kraft. And it'll be 2nd and goal from the 8.
He just gave him a glancing blow because Watt got off the ball so fast. chance that even though no sack recorded, definitely influenced that play.
So 2nd and goal. Come on, defense. Empty set for Green Bay. And they swing it far side to the motion man, and he gets in. Touchdown, it looks like Green Bay. Fuck. All because of the offside that wasn't called, let alone the pass play that, probably should have been picked off. The Packers take advantage of it. They go and score a touchdown. And they're down 3 right now at 16-13. But, obviously, kick the extra point here, they'll only be down 2 again. 16-14 as they were down 9-7. So it's just, 2 touchdowns then on top of that to this point now. But fucking refs. Extra point is good. So, Green Bay would be up 4 right now if they have the 2 field goals. 20-16, but they don't. So Pittsburgh has a 2-point 16-14 lead. And after the offense couldn't do anything to begin the 3rd quarter, even with that offside call they didn't call, you play through it. These refs got to get control of this game, though, that's for sure. But then the defense just allows another touchdown drive. It's like you got to get off the field, but they can't. So it's 16-14, and midway through the 3rd quarter, and the Steeler offense is going to get the ball back here, and hopefully they'll go score just not a field goal, at 19-14, because then it's a 5-point game. Green Bay scores another touchdown, they're up. Hopefully you can go score a touchdown here, because then you're trading, 7 back and forth, and then you're back up 9 at 23-14 as you just were 16-7. So then the pressure's on Green Bay, and then it's coming down to the field goals as the difference. You have 3 made, they have 2 missed. And we'll see. But, 16-14 now. 1-score game, but what's new? Last 4 meetings in Pittsburgh, it's been decided by a total of 15 points once again. From 4-3 to 1-7. All Steeler wins, I might add, because the Steelers haven't lost at home to the Green Bay Packers since 1970. So, 16-14 here, mid-3rd quarter, and offense going to have to go do something. So, Jordan Love now with 2 passing touchdowns, but earlier today in the NFL, as the Lions, Raiders, Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks, and Jaguars are all off on bye weeks this week. Actually, Week 8 began on Thursday Night Football. Chargers blowing out the Vikings 37-10, and then the blowouts continued into the Sunday slate. With the Dolphins beating the Falcons 34-10. Yeah, the Jets won at Cincinnati by a point, 37-38, and a comeback win. But also blowouts of New England beating Cleveland 32-13, Eagles 38, Giants 20. Buffalo went to Carolina and won 40-9. Ravens won at home 30-16 over the Bears. Texans with a 26-15 win at home against the San Francisco 49ers. 23-3 win for the Bucs at the Saints. And then the Colts 38-14 win at home against Tennessee Titans, along with the Broncos beating the Cowboys 44-24 at home in the Mile High City. Obviously, Packers Steelers right now on Sunday Football, and you'll have the Redskins and Chiefs tomorrow night on Monday Night Football, and then we'll preview Week 9 momentarily as the Steelers will host the Colts next Sunday at 1 o'clock. 1st and 10 here for Pittsburgh, up 2 again, 16-14 mid-3rd quarter. They'll hand off to Jalen Warren for a couple yards, 2nd down. So now Spencer Anderson's in for Isaac Siamalu at left guard. So now they don't have that extra blocker that they did, but, I mean, they have depth. If you want to use somebody else, then all right. Down the seam, came Metcalf to midfield, 1st and 10, Pittsburgh. Quick pass. On a little curl and go. And a first down for the Steelers. So 1st and 10, Pittsburgh at midfield. Run the ball. Work this clock. Ball at the 49-yard line officially. Jonnu Smith in motion. And they'll fake the toss, then dump it off on the screen. He'll cut back in. Warren gets a first down as he bulldozes forward. So a couple injuries on defense, a couple injuries on offense for the Steelers. But somebody's got to step up. Boom. 1st and 10. Ball at 38. Darnell Washington in motion, and they'll fake the bubble screen. Rodgers going to step up, avoids a sack. Ball might have came out. Green Bay says they have it. Rodgers up on his feet, so he's not in the bottom of the pile. And, of course, the Green Bay Packers have the ball. Fuck, motherfucker. Was he down? Like I said, you can't be turning the ball over. And then you go back to the offside that wasn't called. That might be incomplete. They say the rolling on the field was a fumble and recovered by the Packers, so the Steelers will look at it. They're going to have to challenge. They say incomplete on the rules analyst for NBC, but the thing is, they have to find indisputed evidence to overturn it. Some more pushing and shoving after all this. Like, what the fuck's going on now? Come on, officials. Come on, zebras. Yeah, get to your fucking sidelines. So they're going to expedite this and review it rather than it being challenged in Pittsburgh. Okay, expedited review. It is incomplete now. No fumble. Steelers maintain possession. And it'll be whatever fucking down it's going to be after all that. I don't even remember. So no fumble. Ball. They no turnover. Thank God. It'll be 2nd and 10. All right. So get the play call in here and let's go. 6:21 to go in the third. These goddamn refs, though. Because Pittsburgh had momentum, and the momentum has switched to Green Bay from the offside that wasn't called, the pass that probably should have been picked off, but then the defense allows the touchdown. And then, here we go on offense, and then they say fumble, but then it's incomplete, and they maintain possession 2nd and 10 to the 38. And they'll run a quick pass near side, and it's almost picked off. 10 for Austin. He catches it. Almost picked off, but did he get any yards on it? I don't think so. I think it's 3rd and 10. Just a little high for a short receiver. And it'll be 3rd and 10.
It's almost incredible to me when we're talking about it, but most of Pittsburgh's have come in this moment where they've had some negative play that they couldn't come from.
So from the 38 on 3rd and 10, can they get, some yards to potentially kick a field goal if they're not going to get a first down? Play clock winding down, and that's a delay of game, but Rogers says timeout. What are they going to get? What are they going to say? It was an empty set 5 wide, but they didn't snap the ball.
You know what? If you want to make it even more confusing, you want to do a little green 19? Let's go. The historic green 19. There you go.
Green 19. Yeah, that's Rogers' go-to for sure.
Doesn't matter which side of the ball he's on.
So after the timeout, 3rd and 10, 5:33 to go in the third. They'll have 2 left the rest of the way after not calling a single timeout in the first half. So 3rd and 10. Once again from the 38. Can they, and Fryer moves back out there, which is a good sign. Can they get a couple yards if they're not going to, get a first down? Play clock winding down again. 5, 4, got to go. And quick pass near side, high, incomplete, in time for Metcalf. And yeah, you're not going to get a penalty on that. So, kick it. 38, 48, another 55, 56 yarder for Chris Boswell. He's already 3 for 3 tonight. Made from 56, 50, and 48. This will make it a 5-point game again if he makes it, 19-14.
Chris Boswell that sort of separated these two teams.
Yeah, so I said the difference in this game is the 3 made Steeler field goals and the 2 missed Green Bay Packer field goals. And make it 4 made Steeler field goals now. Chris Boswell bangs it through once again from 56 for not just the first time, but the second time tonight. So he's made from 56, 50, 48, and 56 now tonight as they lead once again by 5, 19-14. So at least they get points out of that. They have 4 field goals and a touchdown. That's 19 points. And Green Bay has the 2 touchdown passes. That's 14 points, obviously. Hey, they'd be up a point, let alone down 2, if they have 1, if not both those field goals that they missed. But they missed them, so they don't have it. So it's 19-14, not, 20-19 or 19-17. It's 19-14. Defense needs to stop. Probably a little too early for Renegade, but I want to be surprised. So we'll see here, but we'll preview next week in the NFL Week 9 once again momentarily. But yeah, just talk about a sequence to start this third quarter. With Pittsburgh having momentum, you don't, because if you give up the touchdown after the offside that wasn't called and the pass that probably should have been picked off, and then they score later on the drive, and then they say fumble when it's not, even though it's recovered by Green Bay. They expedite the review so Pittsburgh doesn't have to challenge. Because remember, the call on the field was a fumble recovered by the defense, so they would have had to find a bit of evidence to return it. They expedited it, so it's overturned. It's incomplete. No challenge, no missed challenge, no timeout cost because of it. But then they still had to burn timeout on that drive anyway, so they're down to 2 the rest of the way. But they still end up kicking the field goal. So it's 19-14. Another 1-score game here with the Packers and Steelers. What's new? But, I think the NFL deserves this game here tonight with all the fucking blowouts we've seen this week in Week 8. So, yeah, 19-14. Defense needs to stop. And we'll see if they get it or not. Green Bay almost had a turnover. We'll see if Pittsburgh doesn't almost get a turnover. They do get a turnover. So, Mike McCarthy in the house. He's from Pittsburgh. Obviously, was the Green Bay Packer head coach when they beat the Steelers in Super Bowl 45. Most recently with the Green Bay Packers, or most recently with the Dallas Cowboys. Excuse me. But he hasn't coached in the year after he's been let go by either team. So that's this year again. So maybe he gets back into coaching next year. But he's in the house, among others. I'm sure Ben's in his suite. Brett Michaels performed at halftime. Primetime NFL game. All eyes on Pittsburgh here tonight against the Packers.
Quarterbacks, the big money quarterbacks that they signed with Pittsburgh. There you are, Jalen Ramsey for the first
So
time.
come on, defense. Need to stop here.
Big play Slade had his opportunity as well. Tackle for no gain.
They
And then on the coverage side, Joey Porter and a big
are continuing to give themselves a chance to win. Keep extending the game. Still have a lead. So from the 22, 1st and 10 for the Pack. Jordan Love up under center. They'll fake the run and then pressure off the edge, dump off on a couple missed tackles at the end of that as well. And a first down for Green Bay on a pickup about 15. Yeah, Herbig hit him as he threw it. Defense needs to stop. Defense needs to stop. Under 5 to go in the third quarter. Come on, defense. Where you at? From the 36 handoff. And TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Herbig on the tackle.
Yes, they will play the rest of this game without safety Deshaun Elliott because of the...
So Deshaun Elliott's getting carted off. That's not good. He still needs help. He can't put any pressure on that right leg. If I'd have to guess, he's probably done for the year. So they're going to need the depth on the defense to really step up. Jordan Love's pass complete near side. And then Jalen Ramsey pushes him out. 1st and 10, though, in the meantime for the Pack.
Love is starting to show off his skills, and maybe some of it learned from Aaron Rodgers, but I think a lot of it learned by past history of the Green Bay Packers. Watch his feet flying off the ground. We saw that from Brett Favre, we saw it from Aaron Rodgers, and now from Jordan Love.
From the 47, 1st and 10. The run up the middle. Patrick Queen on the stop. No Josh Jacobs on this drive right now. It's the backup running back. 97% of the time since week 4, 1992, the Green Bay Packers starting quarterback has either been Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, or Jordan Love. That's just insane. 2nd and 4 from the 47. And complete to Golden, the rookie out of Texas. Obviously, Green Bay hosted the draft this past spring. Green Bay hadn't taken a first-round wide receiver in quite some time. Crowd went nuts when they did, and it was him. Pittsburgh hosting the draft next April, I might add. But that was the thing with them drafting Jordan Love, when they did in 20 during COVID, that, the Packers were so close to potentially going to another Super Bowl, let alone winning another Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, but he was throwing to reliable players, but they, I believe he's even said it himself, with getting more help in the pass game, for the wide receivers, let alone the tight ends. But they made the most out of what they had, and they still won a lot. They just couldn't win the fucking playoffs, And then Love sat behind, Rodgers there for a little bit. And then, like I said, Rodgers went in the darkness. Name came up for a potential trade, candidate Pittsburgh right before he went to New York. And, Pittsburgh in the meantime went through the quarterbacks they went through after Roethlisberger. And then Rodgers is done in New York with the Jets, and then now he's a member of the Steelers this year. 3rd and 7, under a minute to go here in the third. From the 41, Steelers lead 19-14. Pittsburgh going to bring pressure. That's a hold on the left tackle. Jordan Love going to go deep, almost picked off again, but it's caught inside the 10 by Christian Watson. 1st and goal, but there is a penalty on the play, and it's hopefully coming back for a hold on the left tackle. But they say before the pass was thrown, holding on the defense. Okay. Yeah, obviously. Go to hell. Penalties declined, obviously, and it'll be 1st and goal. So now the Packers are knocking on the door to, potentially take their first lead since 7-3 and go up 21-19 as we near the 4th quarter. Good God. Yeah, another miraculous throw and catch for the Packers. 10 seconds to go in the third. We'll see if they snap it from the 7. And they will with 3 seconds. A false start, though. Hand off Jacobs, but no. So they'll have 2nd and goal about at the 3-yard line. Down 5 to begin the final 15. But I think it's time to be waving these. I think Renegade hopefully strikes again. We'll see when we come back. But oh mama, this Steeler defense needs to stop. Like I said, wave those towels. Now is the perfect time to be playing Renegade. Obviously they can't play it during an injury. They can't play it at some other point in time in the game as well. But, just you get the commercial break. The defense needs to stop at the end of the 3rd quarter, going into the 4th quarter. And big play coming up. Big couple plays coming up. And then what do? Do they kick it if they don't score a touchdown, or do they go for it and, hope to punch it in? Because then obviously they'll probably go for it if I'd have to guess. Because from their perspective, if they do kick it, you're down 2 again, then at 19-17, you hold, you can win with a game-winning field goal. 2019. Remember, they missed a couple kicks already tonight. Made the extra points, but missed field goals. Obviously, this is, short though, and be a chip shot, but never say never. But yeah, obviously, if Pittsburgh would kick another field goal, if they have a field goal, at 17, a touchdown then would win it. Versus, they don't kick it because they go for it, don't get it. Pittsburgh kicks a field goal. They'd have to score and go for 2 to tie at 22. But if they would go for it and score, okay, they're up. Pittsburgh would need a field goal or a touchdown to go up. But they don't play Renegade. Maybe that's the other time they can't play it, is at the end of the quarter, into the 4th. But if, they would kick it, and, Pittsburgh would score a touchdown, that's still a 9-point game. So, come on, defense. Let's go. 2nd and goal, Green Bay from inside the 5. And And they'll run Josh Jacobs. He'll bounce it, and he's going to walk in touchdown. So he scores once again. First time tonight. But they're going to go for 2 now that they scored to make it, as it's 2019, but 22-19. So then the Steelers would need a field goal to tie. Remember, the Packers already missed 2 field goals. So they have those on top of this. You know, Pittsburgh's down even more than what they're, you know, right now. But God damn it, man. So now 2-point try. And then with everything that's happened, the offense has to go score. Field goal to tie. If they make it, field goal to go back up. Field goal to tie because the 2-point try is good. So it's 22-19 with 14:55 to go. So yeah, regardless of everything that's happened, now offensively they got to go score. Field goal to tie at 22. You know, I was going to say, well, if they, you know, wouldn't get it, obviously a field goal would give them a lead again, but then a field goal for Green Bay then could win it at 23-22, but they get the 2-point try. So Pittsburgh offensively, they got to go score. Field goal to tie once again at 22, but then a touchdown to go up 4 at, 26-22. But then its defense still needs a stop. So what's new? But quick 30-second split-screen commercial. Get back to it here to kick off. But yeah, just, oh my. Here we go again. Just don't turn the ball over. Okay, no turnovers.
Steelers, you can count like 35 different Steeler players represented this generation, past generation. Some like Webster jerseys coming over, Bradshaw, Franco. It's part of the Pittsburgh football.
So Green Bay kicks off, and from the 8 on the kickoff return, Kenneth Gainwell gets about the 22. So that's where they'll have the ball 1st and 10 with 14:47 to go. 2 timeouts, 2-minute warning. Down 3 to tie at 22. But a touchdown to go up 4. But then, you know, if Green Bay would score another touchdown, you know, they could go back up and potentially win it then at that rate, depending on how much time's left. But then remember, they already missed 2 field goals. 22 they have. I don't think they would have won for 2 on the last time if they would have had the 2 field goals, let alone one of them. But say they have the 2-point try as they do. I mean, you're looking at 28-19, which is a 9-point game, and you're down 2 scores, you know, with under 15 to go, and pressure's on you. So at least they missed those 2 kicks, but Pittsburgh needs a field goal to tie, touchdown to retake the lead. Rodgers is going to take the sack back of the 12. God damn it. So now a very loud "Go Pack Go" chant as Green Bay traveled, just as Pittsburgh does. They traveled too. But yeah, now 2nd and long, 2nd and 20. Rodgers rolls out, throws in the dirt, incomplete. Intended for Jonnu Smith. It's 3rd and 20. God damn it, man. You're up 16-7 at halftime. And the first, 15 and change now early 4th quarter, you're getting outscored, 15-3? So from the 13, 3rd and 20. Quick slant, complete Jonnu Smith, but it's not even going to get back to the original line of scrimmage. They blow it dead, but then some pushing and shoving. I mean, where's the penalties now? They're letting them play, with all that shit. And they're not calling anything. So now Pittsburgh is going to punt, down 3, 13 minutes to go. And the defense needs to stop. So Waitman kicks it deep from the 28 on the punt return. It's about the 40 on the return. So some more pushing and shoving. And now flags come flying. Somebody's probably going to get thrown out. Now the refs get knocked down. So we'll see what this is. This is against Green Bay. It's going to be, backed up even more. It's against Pittsburgh. They got a short field then to work with. That's against the Packers. Personal foul. They say the instigator was Pittsburgh, so it's against the Steelers. And then now they say time. Come on. So now they got a short field with a 3-point lead, and they go score a touchdown. It's 2 scores, and the game's probably over. And what's going to come back to bite the Steelers in the ass at that rate is not scoring touchdowns and having to settle for 3 way too many goddamn times tonight. Yeah, you take your points in that situation because you don't know what you're going to need late. At least they're in the fucking ball game now. But that's the thing. They need a stop on defense. They need a stop desperately on defense right now. And the refs aren't calling down the middle either, I might add. They're not. So I do have a problem with it then. If you call it down the middle, I don't. But when you don't, it's what it is. What can you do? You got to play through it once again. But I would hope to think, this is pissing everybody off that, is out there playing on defense right now. And that, hey, we need to make a stop. We need a turnover. We need some help, one way or another. So, yeah, wave these once again. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Oh, mama, play renegade. And, no turnovers by either team yet tonight. None. Almost had one go against the Steelers. But all Green Bay is going to do now, especially on the road with a lead, is run the fucking football. And you can't blame them. But defense needs to stop. I mean, you can give up a field goal, 25-19, and be down 6, and then you'd need a touchdown to win it. But you cannot give up a touchdown on this drive. You just can't. Because if you do, you're down 2 scores, and there's not a hell of a lot of time left to, go score, get the ball back, and, score again. I've seen crazier shit happen, but, yeah, not right now, not tonight. Because it's been a Packers second half with the momentum. So they're showing off where the terrible towels were made. And did they play renegade? Because this defense needs a stop. And they did. So jig's up. And Hangman's coming for Jordan Love. Come on. I mean, seriously. Come on, defense. Where the fuck are you? Need a stop. So 1st and 10 from the 45, especially with all those fucking penalties. They'll run it and get a first down and good 15-yard run there. Move the sticks. God damn it. Just. If it ain't one thing, it's another. Like I said, more power to them. They have a lead. They're on the road. They're going to run the fucking football. You know, so now you got to stop it. But, like I said, you can only give up a field goal. You cannot give up a touchdown. Touchdown game's probably over. 1st and 10 from the 30. They run a screen, and then TJ with Hulk on the screen. They want a late hit. They're not going to get it. You've gotten enough fucking penalties tonight that you shouldn't have got. You're definitely not fucking get that. You can kiss my ass. 2nd down. Second and 7. Come on, defense. From the 26, 2nd and 7, Kraft in motion. And they throw his way. And then Peyton Wilson wraps him up. 2-yard completion. So 3rd down. Late whistle. See what this is. They fighting again. Got another injury. What the hell's going on? The refs just want to fucking stop the game. Injured Packer on defense, so get back to it. It's frustrating. So yeah, bunch of injuries tonight on both sides of the ball. Especially for Pittsburgh. You know, you had a couple on offense, a couple on defense. At least Freiermuth came back. Well, like I said, Sean Elliott's probably done for the year, if I'd have to guess. Had somebody else go down injured, and then Isaac Seumalo at left guard. Spencer Anderson's in for him. So 3rd and 4 here for the Green Bay Packers. Steeler defense need to stop. Need to stop. At least force a kick. You cannot give them a touchdown once again on this drive. You just can't. Come on, defense. 3rd and 4 from the 24. And over the middle, caught on the slant. Kraft inside the 10. He's going to fucking walk in. Touchdown. Can't cover, can't tackle. Back to the way the defense was, a week ago. And, what's coming back to bite him in the ass now is, settling for 3 way too much. Even though, you take the points in the situation you're in. Now, momentum just completely fucking switched. And it's been switched. They had a 16-7 lead at halftime. 16-7 lead at halftime. And, they go score at 16-14. You kick a field goal 19-14. They had a chance there to make another 9-point game if they would have scored a touchdown on that, last field goal drive. But then since then, Green Bay scored once again, went for 2 to make it a 3-point lead at 22-19. Renegade has no effect anymore, it seems like, because the teams just drive and score, whenever they have the ball, when it's played. And at 22-19, obviously the defense, because what's new? They allow the Packers to go score a touchdown. When you could only allow and give up a field goal. You could not give up a touchdown. But what do? They give up a touchdown, and now you're down 10 at 22-19 with like 10 minutes to go. And yeah, you have 2 timeouts, 2-minute warning, but you definitely need to go score now, and you need to stop. And then you got to score again. And then even though you're running the ball and controlling some clock, now you're not. They are. And it's just Green Bay put Pittsburgh on its head and completely flipped this game upside down. And just The officiating has been god awful. I go back to the offside that wasn't called, and then that next drive, pass probably should have been picked off. They score on that drive. The other touchdown drive, similar thing happened, and they go score. And then this last one, hey, guess what? About the same fucking thing. You have penalties and just they can't stop the run, even though they did earlier. That now they can't. They can't cover the pass. They can't fucking tackle, and you give up the touchdown, and yeah, you're down. Most you've been down tonight at 10, 29 to 19. I mean, when they were down a couple of scores a week and a half ago, there's at least some more time left, and then they did end up scoring with about 2 minutes to go and had a lead, but then it was too much of time left for the Bengals then, and then they kick it, you end up losing even with the the Hail Mary attempt. You have a fucking 2-score lead at halftime, and now you're getting outscored in this second half, first 20 minutes, all the third and almost 5 minutes of this fourth. Packers kick off, 22-3. That's 3 scores, that you've given up when you've only scored 3 points. I mean, just pathetic. So, they got to score, and then it seems to me that they got too comfortable. They thought they had it in the bag at 16-7. And no, you got to go fucking score some more and make stops. But no and no. And 1st and 10 from the 25 now. Toss it near side. And 4 yards. But just frustrating. I mean, they're nowhere to be found. Offense, defense. Boswell has a fucking field goal in the second half, but that's it. So 2nd down and 7 from the 28. Zebra. We'll see if the Zebras throw a penalty on this play. That was the audible. And they'll toss it again near side. And Warren going to get a 1st down and then pushed out. But yeah, if they want to obviously get back in this game, let them have a chance to win it. They got to score and get the ball back and hope to score again. And now a late penalty flag. Come on. I mean, and this is just Sean Hawkey and his crew. Like I said at the start, and I say every fucking game that he officiates, they're used to throwing penalties the whole entire game. But this is just stupidity. Personal foul on the Steelers. They'll replay 3rd down. Yeah, 3rd and 2 to fucking 3rd and 17 now. They've now shot themselves in the foot with all these penalties. But the refs could be calling a better game, though, too, when they're not. There's been how many missed calls, this game changed with that fucking offside call they didn't call. That's when it changed. And now it's early 3rd quarter. 3rd and 17 out of the gun. Rodgers pump fakes, steps up. He gets sacked. So 4th down, and you have to punt. You can't go for this and give them, 1st and goal if you don't get it. So now you definitely need a stop and a turnover on defense, but you're down 10. under 10 to go. They have a running game. They're going to run the ball and work clock. And what this game is now turning into, as Pittsburgh punts, as tonight's been a little bit of everything. As Dobbs will return the punt for about 5 yards or so. Yeah, 8:56 to go. This game's had a little bit of the Seahawk game in it now. The way this is, ending. But earlier, how the Brown game was 2 weeks ago, and, you're up. As the touchdowns were the difference, but then the field goals were the difference now tonight. But it's back to, last week as well against the Bengals, and they can't fucking get off blocks. They can't cover. They can't tackle on defense. Obviously, you can't score touchdowns on offense. Just a bunch of just nothing with... I don't know what else to say. I don't. This is just fucking frustrating. And, we talked about earlier, how much help they're going to need on offense with a number 2 wide receiver. Which, yeah, that's still true. They are going to need a lot of help if they make any moves at the deadline. And it's going to be defense if they want to fucking do something down the stretch. Because they're 4-2. You end up losing tonight, you drop to 4-3. And then you got arguably the best team in the NFL coming into town next week in the Indianapolis Colts. And talk about their run game. They can't run, or they can run the ball for the most part at times, but they can't stop the run. Well, guess who they got to face next week? Jonathan Taylor. He had another 3-touchdown game today. His 3rd of the season, I might add. So, you think Josh Jacobs is scoring a lot of rushing touchdowns? No, Jonathan Taylor has the most. He's running even wilder than Jacobs is. And Pittsburgh had a chance to draft him out of Wisconsin back in, I believe, 19, and they didn't. But obviously go through Najee Harris, and we saw how that worked out. Yeah, he had 1,000 yards every year, but it was never consistent. He's moved on. They'll play the Chargers in a couple weeks. But, man, just, they fucking blew it. So now 1st and 10 here for Green Bay from the 44. And Jordan Love actually looking to throw. They're going for a dagger in this drive. Watson over the middle gets a first down. And did he just flip the crowd off? How's that not a penalty? But just, oh my God. So now they'll probably run the ball. A field goal makes it 32-19 at, 13, which is 2 scores. 2 scores here at 10 now as it is. But they go score a touchdown, you get, 29 to 36 to 19. You're getting doubled up for the most part. So when you had a lead and you just fucking blew it. Their defense is just atrocious. Not all the time, but at times it's bad. Because they just can't make stops. They can't get off the field. They can't. So it's 3rd down for what it's worth, but, you're still down 10, you force a kick, you're down 13, you definitely need 2 touchdowns to win it, not 10 to tie. You know, they score a touchdown, ball game. I mean, it's probably ball game now as it is, but for sure then. And Green Bay's pass far side, caught, first down, and he gets out of bounds. So from the 13, 1st and 10. They'll run it up the middle, a couple yards. But the clock is, as Pittsburgh's down 10, the clock's their, worst nightmare. But Jordan Love now has 20 straight completions, which is tied for the longest streak for the Packers since 2007, which was Brett Favre. Rodgers took over shortly then after, and Jordan Love's doing that against Rodgers and the Steelers tonight. 2nd and 6 from the 9. They'll fake the run and pass incomplete. So, just as he gets to 20, he throws an incompletion then. So, I mean, yeah, clearly Jordan Love's balled out tonight. Rodgers has been sacked as many times as Steelers have scored points this second half in 3. And, I mean, 215 more passing yards and a couple more touchdowns Jordan Love has on Rodgers tonight. And then they say the 27 thing with, not the club and celebrities, but Packers quarterbacks. Brett Favre won a Super Bowl at 27. Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl at 27. Jordan Love's going to be 27 this season. So, pass incomplete. It's 4th and 6. 5:31 to go. Green Bay going to kick it. McManus already 0 for 2 tonight. But remember, he already missed from 57 and 44, but he has those. That's another 6 points. That's 35-19. They make this, it's 38-19. You're definitely doubled up then at that rate. This from 28, he's made the extra points, but this field goal up and good. So now it is 32-19, which is a 13-point game. And with 5:28 to go, Pittsburgh can get the ball back, 2 timeouts, 2-minute warning, and they need 2 touchdowns to win it, which ain't going to happen. But I've seen crazier shit happen, so we'll see how this plays out. But yeah. Pittsburgh in the second half has been nowhere to be found other than the Boswell field goal. I think the momentum completely changed. Pittsburgh's allowed the penalties to get to them. Whether they went their way or didn't, especially didn't. But then also continue to shoot themselves in the foot. Because momentum switched with that offside call they didn't call. And then, they've only had 3 points this whole entire second half. And Green Bay's taking advantage of just everything. It doesn't matter. And just outscoring Pittsburgh, 25 now to 3 in the second half. Because it was 16-7 at halftime. And Pittsburgh got too confident to just... they had a chance once again when it was 16-14 to, rather than kick that field goal, which you still kick it, no doubt. But if they would have scored a touchdown on that drive, you're back up 9. It's 23-14. But with that field goal at 19-14 or 5, it's been all Green Bay since. I know it was Green Bay scoring the touchdown prior to that as well, but it's been all Green Bay since. They score again, go up 22-19 because they went for 2 to make it a 3-point lead. They, go score a touchdown because Renegade has no effect anymore, and it's 29-19. And no doubt the refs could have called a fucking better game tonight. I'm not blaming the refs, but I am at the same point in time. But Pittsburgh hasn't been nowhere to be found in the second half, And what's biting them in the ass is settling for field goals 4 times compared to scoring touchdowns. But you also take the points in those situations. You just do, because you don't know you're going to be late, and they were still in it late. But then when it came down to it, when it came down to the nitty-gritty, you're down 22-19, needing a stop. You can only give up a field goal to make it a 6-point game at 25-19. No touchdown. They give up the touchdown. It was 29-19. And then, give up another field goal. It's 32-19. Could be 35-38-19 if Green Bay has their missed field goals. Because remember, there was point time in this game. The difference in this game with the touchdowns that were canceled out early before Jordan Love threw his second touchdown pass of the night, and then threw a couple more on top of that. But it was the Steelers made field goals and the Packers missed field goals. Well, not anymore, because clearly, Green Bay took advantage of everything and just kept putting it to Pittsburgh. And they're seemingly going to win in the Steel City here, as that pass is incomplete over the middle intended for Pat Frymuth. But if this is your final, 32-19, or the Packers just win it, if the Steelers do score again, or whatever the case may be. Like I said, Steelers down 13, 5:17 to go, got a 2nd and 10, 2 timeouts, 2-minute warning. They need 2 touchdowns to win it. But, yeah, seemingly the Packers are going to win in the Steel City. They clearly are now, because the Steelers just fucking fumbled it and Green Bay recovered. God damn, man. Just fucking take us all out of our misery now. Quit shooting yourselves in the foot and do us all a favor. And they're going to drop back-to-back games, fall to 4-3 to end the month. Yeah, pass over the middle, complete Kenneth Gainwell, but then he coughed it up, fumbled it, and the lone turnover when you're down 2 scores. But yeah, Green Bay is going to win in Pittsburgh for the first time since 1970 tonight. 55 years since they last won in Pittsburgh. That's just... give it to Green Bay. I mean, they had their backs against the wall at halftime, and they just came out fucking swinging. So 1st and 10 from the 26. They'll run it, and down to the 14 he goes. 1st and 10. Yeah, tonight's game has had a little bit of, like I said a little bit ago, a couple different games that the Steelers have already played this season wrapped up into one tonight. Because it's turning into the Seahawk game. We've already witnessed the Bengals and the Browns, but just Green Bay, like I said, they wanted it more, took advantage of everything, and Packers playing a full 60. Steelers only the first 30. So Green Bay, they'll have the Panthers at home next week, it looks like. Like I said, Pittsburgh going to host Indy next Sunday at 1. And the Colts are arguably, one of the best, if not the best team in the NFL right now. We're like almost that midway point with the trade deadline next week. And obviously it's week 8 going into week 9. Obviously you have 18, week 17 games, unlike the old, 17 and 16 format. Playoffs still begin in January. Obviously, Pittsburgh going to drop this. They already beat the Vikings at home in Ireland, so they'll split with the NFC North at home. They still got to go to Chicago and Detroit before Thanksgiving and Christmas. But 4-3, they're still going to be atop the AFC North with the way the Bengals, the Browns, and the Ravens are. So 4:09 to go as they show off the Penn Stater, Micah Parsons. Pittsburgh calls their third and final timeout for what it's worth as the crowd starts to file out. But like I was saying a little bit ago too, if you think Pittsburgh can't stop the run against everybody they've played, so far, yeah, they got Jonathan Taylor and the Colts coming to town next week. Good luck. As they show off the Steelers schedule, that goes into early December. But yeah, like I said, even with the loss tonight, they're still atop the AFC North at 4-3. So it sucks with the loss because losing sucks, but it's also a loss in the NFC that right now ain't gonna matter a hell of a lot. It will if they end up losing, a couple more down the stretch, especially if they're against AFC teams. But then you look around the AFC with how good, this team is or this team is, blah, blah, blah. But if they take care of business in the division, it ain't going to fucking matter, how else all the other games, play out. Because they'll be division champs at that rate. They'll get a fucking home playoff game. Green Bay going to kick it again on 4th and 3. So McMahon is going to be 2 of 4 tonight. So 35-19 would be 41, but on 38-19 if he made the other one or two. But yeah, it's still a 2-score game here at 35-19. You'd have to score twice and get a 2-point try in there as well. But because it's 16 points. Well, you'd have to get 2 points on both of them. Excuse me. Yes. Just what can you do? You still gotta obviously take care of business, try to sort itself out. But just a game you really think about in the long run, long term, with where you were earlier, and then as the game progressed, and then now that it's like you had a chance, you blew it, and you ended up losing again. When, you probably could have won it a time or two, but it obviously was way earlier than the game's, being officially done and over with, because you got to play a full 60 and over until it's over. And just it's frustrating. And this ain't going to be a one-score game with these two either. Like a lot of them have been, lately, especially in Pittsburgh. Like I said, the last 4 meetings in Pittsburgh with these two have been decided by a total of 15 points. And Green Bay's up 16 right now with 3:52 to go. And Green Bay's going to win in Pittsburgh for the first time since 1970 as well. So, Super Bowl 45 rematch, ain't going to go the Steelers' way either, even though they have the quarterback for the winner in that game on their team now. But that pass complete for 8 yards to be 2nd and 2 at the 38. And, as Roman Wilson makes the catch, nice for him to show up again. He had a 45-yard completion reception in the first half on the opening drive and makes the second catch right here with 3 minutes to go. Anyways, You don't throw this game out and throw the tape out or anything. You watch this, you learn from your mistakes, you move on. But Rodgers pass complete. Roman Wilson once again, so second in the medium, but they got a lot to clean up, clearly. They a lot to work on, a lot to fix. They, with an NFC loss, will fall to 4-3, and then 2 of the 3 losses are against the NFC. And the Seahawks at home and the Packers at home. They lost at the Bengals. So then that's a good thing. They can beat the AFC then at home. They have the Colts then next week. Then they go to the Chargers on a Sunday night 2 weeks from now. So that pass deflected, incomplete. And then, as they just showed off the schedule, from what I can recall, they'll get the Bengals then at home. And that's a month from the last time they would have met, a week and a half ago, on the 16th of October to November 16th. And then they, go to Chicago, and then they get Buffalo. And then you're unleashing hell in December. So, 3rd and 5 here with 3:32 to go. They have no timeouts. Very loud "Go Pack, Go" chant at the home of the Steelers, which bat down the seam is incomplete, intended for Johnny Smith. So 4th down, but not too often do you hear the opponent fan base come in and take over. Because it's a bunch of, this. But not as of late, especially tonight. And the Packers are going to get the better of Aaron Rodgers in his first game, and potentially only game against his first former team. Remember, Pittsburgh already beat the Jets, his second former team, week 1. And the stat was, I said last week, pass on 4th and 5, complete DK Metcalf, he gets to the 38. We'll see here what the final score is, 3 minutes and change to play. But until they lost to the Bengals on that game-winning field goal, attempted Hail Mary and all that, lost 33-31. But all their wins up to that point, they had scored more than 21 points. The loss against Seattle, they scored less than 20. Tonight, they scored less than 20. You scored 31 last week, you still lose. Just that's the way the game fucking played out. But pass, once again, complete. Rodgers for 6 yards. I believe that was the Fryer move. 2nd and 4 coming up. So, it ain't over just yet, Complete to the 21. And that's Calvin Austin, first down, Pittsburgh. They're down 16 at 35-9. They need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point tries just to tie to force overtime, as we know the 2-minute warning, and they have no timeouts. Rodgers all day to throw. Pump faking, and in the end zone, it's caught. Touchdown, Roman Wilson, then he dropped it. But then you say, catch, touchdown, do you have control and possession before it got knocked out? They say no, it's incomplete. 2:07. You can't even challenge because you don't have any timeouts to spare. And then all scoring plays are reviewed, though. But then remember, it was incomplete on the field. But then what's a catch anymore? Control, possession, 1-2 feet down is a touchdown. So the NFL should buzz down, expedite a review like they did earlier, and that's a fucking touchdown, as thought. And then it's dropped incomplete. After replay assist, control, possession, it's a touchdown for the Steelers. Thank you. Now go for 2, and you're still down 8. If you make it. But then you need an onside kick. At least they scored on the plus side of the 2-minute mark. And now some John pushing and shoving back and forth again. These refs all fucking night. Sean Hockley's crew, they say is one of the best in the league. Arguably has to be one of the fucking worst in the league. Because all they fucking do is throw penalties the whole entire game. Let alone they let, all this shit happen. It's like, all right, yeah, let them fucking play, but there's a line in the sand that has to be drawn on. The refs have to control this game, because if not, it's obviously going to get out of control. Because the players are going to be, fill in the blank saying this to, whoever. Yeah, I just said that, CC. So, but even with replay assists, they overturned it. It's a touchdown for the Steelers. They need this 2-point. And they'll throw a fade, and it's incomplete. Time for Darnell Washington. Got a penalty, though. All right, I'll take it. So, pass interference. That's probably one of the makeup calls from earlier. Pass interference on the defense. So, it'll be half the distance. It'll be 2-point try for the Steelers from now the 1-yard line. So, now what's the call? They still throw it. They still run it. He was throwing the fade of the goal line to Washington. He had Freiermuth wide open on an out route right at the goal line, too, but didn't see him. But also, he already was throwing the football before he turned. But probably still would have been caught by one of the tight ends, if so. But 2-point try for the Steelers here from the 1 after the penalty. Out of the eye, the motion, audible, into the gun and motion the guy out, bottom of your screen. And then Rodgers going to roll out near side, and it's complete. Jonnu Smith, and now they say incomplete on the 2-point try. I mean, come on. So it's like, you catch it, you don't catch it. Is it a catch? Is it incomplete? The ref's just saying it's incomplete when it is a catch, or is it incomplete? It's like, the way this fucking game is going, I have no clue anymore. Control and possession, I don't know. They needed a 2-point try there. They're not going to get it. It's incomplete. It's back to 10. I mean, you still fucking kick the onside, but then you still need 2 more scores with 2 minutes to go. And just frustrating. But Rodgers with another passing touchdown. That to Roman Wilson officially. About 220, 225 tonight for him. But then, yeah, the 2-point try is no good.
Sorry, is that the replay officials here in the stadium, or is that Game Day Central in New York replay center? Could be either or both.
So now we're just waiting for this kickoff, which is an onside kick, I would expect, for the Steelers, yes. Obviously, nowadays, you have to announce you're going to kick an onside kick. You can't catch anybody off guard anymore. Like the Saints did to the Colts in the Super Bowl, and then UCLA did to Penn State earlier this month. But from the 35, Boswell going to kick it near side on an onside kick. Yes, it bounces, but they won't get it. And that should do it. 35-25. 2:06 to go. And the 4th. And Pittsburgh can't stop the clock other than the 2-minute warning because they have no timeouts. Potentially a scoregami. If somebody wants to look that up for me, let me know. I mean, I'm sure 35-25 has happened before. Just an odd score, though. You don't see a hell of a lot. But, yeah. Just... what can you do? I mean, they could probably knee it out from here if they want, because Pittsburgh can't stop it in the 2-minute warning. But 1st and 10, they'll probably like to run the ball and get a new set of downs, so then knee it out from there for sure. And they will run it up the middle. Looks like Pittsburgh's got some backups in up front. So 2 minutes to go. It's 2nd and 7, yeah. And NBC ain't even going to fucking take a commercial break with this 2-minute warning because they know the game's over. Or are they? No? They're going to stick with it. All right, yeah. So, we'll update some stats once we go final. But just frustrating. Yeah, Bart Starr, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, all won Super Bowls or NFL championships when they were 27. and Jordan Love turns 27 a week from now. So, I mean, the way they're playing, they're going to get the 5-1-1. They probably should have won that Dallas game on Sunday night a month ago. You know, so then they'd be, 6-1? But then they arguably could have lost that, so then they'd, be at 4-2 like Pittsburgh is. But we'll see if that tie comes back to bite them in the NFC North, let alone the NFC, playoff picture at all down the stretch. But if I had money to bet, it might be a good decision to put some money on the Packers to go win the fucking Super Bowl, because history's repeating itself. Not saying that because they're beating the Steelers. It's just that trend of, not like I said, the 27 club with celebrities. If you know, you know. But that's 3 quarterbacks, all with one franchise, who've won the championship at the end of the season when they were 27 years old. Like, that's just what it is. One of those stats that it's like a little hard to overlook. But at the same point in time, you still got to, play the game. So the Kate from last Sunday, they're not going to do that for running back day. Today's National Tight End Day. They're going to give out little fucking mugs, and they're bitching about the shipping. So they're going to get them in the mail or from UPS or FedEx or whatever, and then they're going to ship them once they arrive to them, to the players that win them tonight. But the cape should be Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth in the booth tonight. But speaking of the mail, thank you for tuning in and watching. Be sure to scan the QR code or click the first top link in the description below if you haven't done so already. So, Green Bay now gets the first down they wanted a minute to go, and now they can knee it out, and this game's over. And your final score is going to be 35-25. So, man, just from, you're 4-1. With a win coming off the bye, and now you lose 2 in a row. Schedule ain't getting any easier, and you got to play every fucking week from, here until the end of the season now, as post-game handshakes as Aaron Rodgers did with Brett Favre. He's now doing it with the quarterback who took over for him, and Jordan Love, and then obviously Mike Tomlin and Matt LaFleur, Rodgers and LaFleur as well. But triple zeros. Packers beat the Steelers on Sunday Night Football, 35-25. They get the 5-1. Has now lost 2 in a row. They're all to 4-3. 2 of their 3 losses have been by 2 scores. That's what makes last week's loss now even worse, with it being as close as it was. The game you probably should have won, then you lose on a game-winning field goal. And then the Bengals lost to a winless Jet team today on top of it. So, but like I said, you're 4-3, and 2 of your 3 losses as well are to the NFC. And you're in the AFC North. And even with the loss, you're still atop the AFC North. They got to fix everything that's fucking wrong. They can't settle. They can't, obviously stop the run. They can't get off blocks. They can't fucking cover. We all know that. So, obviously a lot to clean up, but if they can take care of business, the rest will sort itself out and they'll be fine. But there's going to be a couple games that they're going to have to try to win against, better competition. Colts, Chargers, Bills over the next month. You know, probably should have beat the Bengals a week and a half ago. They'll get them at home in a couple weeks. And then we all know Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. And then that'll be right before Thanksgiving. So maybe a win then too. But that's it. This is now, I mean, yeah, losing sucks once again. You drop 2 in a row. But, you know, they'll be fine if and only if, as I was saying, they take care of business. And, well, it's not going to be every game. You're not going to win them all. I know that much. But I'm not fucking stupid. Just most of the games down the stretch, especially AFC competition, let alone AFC North competition. Because, I mean, if they take care of business in the North and they win the division, it ain't going to fucking matter what their record is then at the end of the year. They'll still get a home playoff game. But with that being said, you still want to be playing your best ball down the stretch, and you want to be a force to be reckoned with, which tonight they were, but they weren't. You know, like I said, 16-7 lead at halftime. And with that 2-score 9-point lead, they scored 9 fucking points in the second half. You know, and get shut out or, well, shut down officially. And remember, Green Bay would have had 38-41 points. They would have made their other, you know, field goals. Because at a time, with those, the first Love touchdown and then the first Rodgers touchdown, the field goals were a difference. For Boswell and his 9 points from 56, 50, and 48 before he made another 56-yarder to go up 19-14. But then the Packers 2 missed kicks, forward on 57 and wide left on 44. But, you know, you're up 16-7 at halftime, and you fucking blow it. You know, you lose 28-9 in the third and fourth quarter. Just, you know, it adds up. You know, and 35-25 is your final score. So I said, it seemed like, because that last touchdown was with, what, a fucking couple minutes to go anyway. You know, and a failed 2-point try on top of it. You still kick the onside kick, but you still need 2 scores. If you would have got the 2-point try, that onside kick's even, you know, more of a bigger play. And then you get it, you still need a touchdown on 2-point to tie at 35. Which, who knows if they would have got it. They probably wouldn't have, but who knows. Just hypothetically, they didn't in the long run. And like I said, give it to Green Bay. You know, Jordan Love balled out, you know, as they drafted him to replace Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers went to New York for 2 years and Pittsburgh for this season on a 1-year deal. Who knows what the future holds. If he wants to come back, I've said it recently, I would love him back, you know, moving forward. They'd be stupid not to bring him back next year if he wants to continue to play, but that's neither here nor there right now. But Green Bay, like I said, give it to them because it seemed like they wanted it more. They took advantage of just... We could talk about the officiating because I feel like this game with momentum switched with that offside call that wasn't called, if you recall that. And then that was the 19-14 field goal. Or no, they punted. But then, yeah, Green Bay went and scored 16-14. Pittsburgh goes and kicks the field goal. But if they would have scored a touchdown there, they had their chance to make it a 9-point game again at 23-14. They didn't. Kicked the field goal. And then, like I said, it was all Green Bay. It was all Green Bay from 14 to 20 to 22 because they went for 2 to make it a 3-point 22-19 game. You know, Steelers needed to force a kick. Couldn't, because if they did, it was 25-19, but they didn't. Still 1-score game then at 6. You know, you score a touchdown, you have a 1-point lead. You know, Green Bay would still get the ball back. Who knows about the time, kicking field goals, so on and so forth. But they gave up the touchdowns, 29-19, 2-score game at 10. And then another couple field goals, you know, 32-35. And, Yeah, you scored a garbage touchdown, so just frustrating. I mean, we'll get to the stats here again, but Pittsburgh had a running game in the first half, but then not so much in the second half. Green Bay, that was completely reversed. They really didn't have a running game in the first half, but they did in the second half. Because, you know, you're on the road, you want to run the ball and work clock. That completely switched into their favor. It's just, momentum's a real thing. And, yeah, Green Bay is going to win in Pittsburgh for the first time since 1970. So, yeah, that's not a good thing to be part of when you're losing at home for the first time against a team since a certain date, especially that long of a time. Who knows the next time they'll play? It might be next year. I don't know. It depends on... Well, obviously they're playing the NFC North this year. So if it is next year, it's going to be an add-in game where they're based at in the standings. But when they do play next, it will be in Green Bay. They last went there in 21, beat them here in 23, and then just lost to them tonight by 10. I mean, that's as close to a one-score game as you're going to get, other than 9 at 35-25. But just frustrating. So NBC is going to have a post game. They just gave out their game balls. But Pittsburgh still needs the number 2 wide receiver, as I've said. But I think more than that, they need fucking help on defense, because we've seen how the defense has played. Just not last week, but all fucking season. They can't stop the run. They can't cover. Can barely tackle at times. So, obviously, with injuries now adding up again, because remember, they had injuries earlier, got healthy, but now it's back to being bit by the injury bug. If I'd have to guess, Deshaun Elliott's going to be done for the year with the way that knee injury looked, because he couldn't put any pressure on that right leg. They have depth in the secondary. You know, so we'll see if they would add anybody there, let alone a linebacker up front. But they need a number 2 wide receiver. You know, they've needed a number 2 wide receiver for a while. And they had it, you know, when they traded and still had Pickens and traded for Metcalf. You have a 1-2 there, but then you trade Pickens and get the drama out of the building, and rightfully so. But now he's balling out in Dallas, but then it would have came down to money once again, you know, because he was on last year's rookie deal. And they traded him before the last year's deal rather than during, rather than letting him walk then too. But like I said, they still could have got, you know, play out of him though this year too, and just fucking dealt with it. But they traded for Mike Williams last year. It ain't gonna be him. And like I said at the end of last week's game, mentioned a little bit earlier tonight too, I thought it would have been, you know, better they would have made a move after last week. You know, you get somebody in there, get them acclimated to custom to the system on whoever it's going to be. I don't know. I mean, there's rumors out there, this player. But you get ahead of the curve rather than behind the 8 ball, and then you're just there with everybody else. You know, making moves a week from Tuesday at the NFL trade deadline. That's become a thing over the past 5, 8, 10 years. You know, because season trade deadline for the NFL was never a thing. It was always off-season moves, and then you just play. You know, you deal with who you have on the roster. But, you know, it's become a thing, just like how it is in baseball, basketball, and hockey. But you get him in, you get him acclimated. He might have played tonight, probably wouldn't have, but maybe, I don't know. Then, you know, you get him ready then for next week. But because they haven't made a move yet from then until now, and they're probably not going to make a move this week, they're probably going to wait till next week. You're still not going to have him next Sunday. And then, because what I'm getting at is you just keep pushing it back. With then you make a move at the deadline. He might play in 2 weeks' time. Might not, probably won't. You know, when they go to the Chargers on Sunday night. So then from on October the 16th, if they make a move and bring in a wide receiver, he might play for the first time on November the 16th against the Bengals. You know, when they could have made a move and then, you know, might have played tonight, but probably not. And then you're at least getting them in for 2 games, maybe 3, before you have to, you know, go do something else. But and play, you know, a similar opponent as you just did. But they need a number 2 wide receiver. I've said my piece on that from last week to tonight and just everything now. But the defense is a bigger fucking problem. But if they can continue to run the football and Rodgers does his thing, get these tight ends involved, again, and obviously more than they did tonight, because last week and then the week prior on the short week, all 4 tight ends have been scoring touchdowns. You know, tonight not so much. It was DK Metcalf and it was Roman Wilson. And DK's had a touchdown every game other than 2, which was week 1 and last week. And Roman Wilson, I believe that was his first NFL touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. So congrats to him in, you know, the final minutes of this year. But because they've been looking for, you know, him to step up. But remember, he was out all last year with an injury, similar to how Calvin Austin was a couple years ago. And then, you know, Austin's banged again and had a couple catches tonight. But they like him way more than they should. He's really not that good. He's not. And because now, shit, they're not even using him in the fucking return game, for God's sakes. Because they found somebody else to be doing that. And, I mean, if Roman Wilson can be a 2, then Austin can be your slot at 3. But it would still be nice to have, you know, somebody else on the offense to line up that can catch the ball. I mean, Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith are more of wide receivers than they are tight ends anyway. Like, Darnell Washington's your real old school tight end, as big as he is. Could be a fucking offensive line for us. But then they had an offensive lineman and Spencer Anderson tonight catching passes. Okay? So, I mean, they're throwing everything at the fucking wall and seeing what sticks. And, I mean, more power to them. But if they can get somebody else for Rodgers to get the football to. I mean, yeah, you gave him a couple sacks tonight after a couple weeks of no sacks, which, yeah, probably should have saw that coming. You know, because the thing is, too, with Green Bay, all the talk was Rodgers against his former team, you know, and the Green Bay Packers. Well, it's also, you know, Green Bay's pissed off because of that, more so than not, and hey, let's go, you know, one of those. So, I mean, who knows what Pittsburgh is going to do, but it would just give, you know, the offense something else to give the defense to catch them off guard, and then you can fucking do what you want. Because at times, they've been able to do what they've wanted to do. But then also at times, they're up shit creek without a paddle. And they're just, they do it to themselves. They shoot themselves way too goddamn much. They do. It's just frustrating. You know? Because last week truly was probably a game they should have won. And tonight, to a point, as well. But you still got to play the full 60, you know? And just one of those. So, yeah, what can you do? We're not coaching, we're not playing, we're watching it. Calling as I see it, analyzing the game. So, as always, thanks for tuning in and watching. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media. Links in the description below. But we'll update some stats now. 35-25 is going to be your final score as the Green Bay Packers win in the Steel City for the first time since 1970. It was not a one-score game, as a lot of these matchups have been recently, but now Green Bay leads the all-time series 21-17. Packers cover, and the over clearly hits at over 45.5. Shit, they almost got that themselves. So Also, I think I'm going to quit wearing this Leatherhead because last time I wore it, the Steelers also lost. And now I wear it again tonight on a throwback. And they lose again. So I have to retire it. And Rodgers, because he didn't face the Packers as a member of the Jets, faces the Packers tonight for the first, especially the only time as a member of the Steelers. He will not become the 5th quarterback all time to defeat all 32 NFL teams. So only 4 have done that with Brett Favre, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Peyton Manning. But Rodgers is there at 5 if he would ever do it. But it has to be against the Packers. And like I said, who knows the next time, they're going to play, and who knows how much longer Rodgers is going to be playing. So unfortunately, it wasn't nothing but a good time here tonight. But yeah, the Packers get to 5-1-1. Pittsburgh drops to 4-3. Your final score is 35-25. Jordan Love 29 of 37, 360 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Jacobs had 13 carries, 33 yards, and a score. But Emmanuel Wilson came on in the second half. 11 carries, 61 yards rushing. Tucker Kraft had a night on National Tight End Day. 7 catches, $143, and 2 scores. Christian Watson, 4 of 85. Dobbs, 3 of 44. Malik Heath, 3 of 29. Emmanuel Wilson also had 3 catches, 26 yards out of the backfield, as did Jacobs with 12. Savion Williams, a catch for 8 yards and a touchdown. Luke Musgrave, 1 of 5. John Fitzpatrick, 1 of 4. And Matthew Golden, rookie out of Texas, had 3 catches, 4 yards. McManus was 2 of 4 on field goals, but they were both chip shots from inside of 30. He missed from 57 as he was short on that and hooked a 44-yarder left before halftime. Aaron Rodgers in the loss as a member of the Steelers against his former team, the Packers, was 24-36, 219 yards and 2 touchdowns, sacked 3 times as well. Jalen Warren, 13 of 62 on the ground. Kenneth Gainwell, 5 of 31, also had a fumble in the receiving game. Roman Wilson of the team in receiving, 4 catches, 74 yards and a touchdown. DK Metcalf behind him, triple nickel on the score. Calvin Austin, 4-28. Jonnu Smith with 2 catches, 17 yards. Skronik, 1 of 13. Fryermuth, 3-13. Jalen Warren, 2 of 11. Kenneth Gainwell, 2 catches, 4 yards. And the backup lineman, Spencer Anderson, had a catch for 4 yards. Peyton Wilson, 9 total tackles. They had 1 tackle for loss. It was Darius Slay, 0 sacks on Jordan Love. And then Boswell was 4-4 on his extra points. Had 13 total points with extra points as well, as he made from 56, 50, 48, and 56. Packers had 22 first downs compared to Steelers 16. Packers were 5 of 12 on third down, 1 of 1 on fourth down. Steelers also 1 of 1 on fourth down, but they could not convert on third down and save their goddamn lives tonight. 1 of 10 on third down, as they ran 57 plays compared to the Packers 63. They couldn't even crack 300 fucking total yards. Green Bay had 454 total yards with 360 passing, 94 rushing. Steelers had 93 rushing, but 202 passing. So do the math. 295 yards of total offense here tonight. 11 total penalties, 5 against the Packers for 47 yards, 6 of 65. You might as well make that 6 so we can all go to hell in the loss. Steelers had the lone turnover, and then they were controlling the clock, but ended up losing that as they lost the game. Packers won time possession with the run game in the second half. And then just, like I said, give it to Green Bay. They seemingly wanted it more, and they took advantage, and they put it to Pittsburgh. I can't state that enough. So yeah, time possession was 31-48 in favor of Green Bay to Pittsburgh's 28-12. So, yeah, what else is there to say? There's not much, so I'll leave it at that, and they'll and I'll, and hopefully you'll join, but get back to it next weekend with some more college football and NFL live play watch along reactions live right here on YouTube. So be sure to tune in then. But tonight, unfortunately, on Sunday Night Football, the Green Bay Packers defeat Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers by your final score of 35-25. So in the meantime, that'll do it for myself, your host, Encyclopedia Sports, Kawhi and Luke 96, live right here on YouTube. Once again, thanks for tuning in and watching. But be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on social media if you haven't done so already. Links in the description.